Every year, over 50 million donkeys are raised across continents, serving as a valuable resource for a wide range of processing industries. But did you know that this animal, often seen as simple-minded and tied to a life of hard labor, is actually the golden engine behind a multi-billion-dollar industry? The strange journey of donkeys begins on farms, where they are carefully nurtured and raised in good health before being transported to modern processing facilities. There, thanks to advanced production lines and seasoned expertise, millions of liters of milk, nutritious meat, and rare donkey hide gelatin are processed and distributed to consumers around the globe. Today, join Agriculture Insight as we step into the mysterious world of donkeys and uncover how this quiet creature has become the heart of a booming and often controversial industry. All will be revealed in this video. Donkeys are often seen as second-class horses due to their humble appearance and stubborn nature. However, they are actually intelligent and rational animals. In Africa, there are around 9 million donkeys, nearly 20% of the global population, playing a vital role in people's livelihoods. A fully grown donkey can carry up to 2.5 times its body weight across hilly terrain with remarkable endurance. Beyond being living trucks, donkeys also provide valuable products. Donkey milk, mildly sweet and rich in natural antibodies, is considered a premium product, fetching up to $1,000 per liter. Donkey hides are also used to produce ajiao, a type of gelatin believed to enhance health, which is highly sought after, especially in China. This industry generates hundreds of millions of dollars annually, but also puts significant pressure on the global donkey population. The journey of this resilient animal begins on fertile farms, where young donkeys are nurtured and raised with care every day. Due to their stubborn nature and susceptibility to stress, donkeys require specialized care techniques and more meticulous attention than many other common livestock animals. To ensure healthy development and high productivity, nutrition plays a critical role, accounting for 60 to 70% of farming efficiency. Donkeys prefer fresh grass and soft, nutrient-rich leaves, so providing a clean, green, and sufficient supply of forage is essential. In addition, grains such as corn and oats should be included to supply energy and protein. They are typically fed 2 to 3 times a day, with a well-balanced diet to optimize their health and reproductive performance. Housing must be spacious, well-ventilated, clean, with proper roofing, and dry, well-drained flooring to help prevent disease. Regular hoof trimming plays an important role in donkey care, as it helps maintain correct posture and gait while preventing common hoof problems such as infections, overgrowth, and lameness. This procedure is typically performed every 3 to 4 months, or more frequently if needed, to ensure the donkey remains comfortable and healthy over the long term. In late spring, as the weather becomes mild and favorable, donkeys enter their most active breeding season of the year. During this time, female donkeys begin to show clear signs of estrus, such as behavioral changes, increased restlessness, and vocalizations to attract males. They frequently approach male donkeys, signaling openness and readiness to mate. Once both parties are receptive, mating begins. Interestingly, the penis of a male donkey can reach a length of 50 to 60 centimeters, longer than that of many other equine species. However, the mating process is relatively brief, typically lasting only 10 to 60 seconds, allowing donkeys to achieve successful fertilization quickly and efficiently, even in challenging natural environments. At some modern farms, artificial insemination is used to enhance reproductive success and control breeding quality. The semen of male donkeys is collected, processed, and cryopreserved under optimal conditions, then introduced into the female reproductive tract using small insemination rods, similar to the technique used in cattle. After successful fertilization, a female donkey undergoes a gestation period lasting between 11 to 14 months, typically giving birth to only one foal per pregnancy. With intervals of 1.5 to 2 years between births, this slow reproductive rate is a key factor contributing to the decline in donkey populations under increasing exploitation pressure. Although the birthing process in donkeys is usually quick and without major complications, it is not always entirely smooth. Timely intervention by caretakers plays a crucial role in reducing the risk of complications and improving the survival rate of newborn foals, especially on modern farms where care procedures are professionally managed. Shortly after birth, the newborn foal must learn to stand on its own, one of the very first lessons a mother donkey teaches her baby. Donkey mothers can be surprisingly strict. The foal either learns to stand on its own or is gently nudged with a firm kick to encourage it to get up immediately. This early push helps the young donkey quickly adapt to its surroundings, enhancing its ability to protect itself and increasing its chances of survival during the critical early days. After giving birth, the mother donkey begins producing milk to nourish her foal, typically lasting around 6 to 8 months, depending on care conditions and breed. This period is also when the valuable milk is collected for processing and consumption purposes. At traditional farms, donkey milking is usually done entirely by hand. Farmers gently massage and press the donkey's udder by hand to extract the milk, a process that requires patience and proper technique to avoid injuring the mother and to ensure optimal milk yield. Manual milking is typically carried out 2 to 3 times a day under strict hygiene conditions to prevent contamination and maintain the milk's freshness and purity. Meanwhile, at larger and more modern farms, donkey milk is collected using advanced automated milking systems. These machines are specially designed with soft milking heads to enhance efficiency, minimize stress for the mother donkeys, and maintain high milk quality. The automated milking process is typically integrated with an instant cooling system to preserve the milk's freshness and valuable nutrients before it moves to the processing stage. Thanks to the application of high technology, the milking process becomes faster and more consistent, optimizing productivity while ensuring animal welfare. This, in turn, enhances the commercial value of donkey milk, especially in markets with strict quality requirements. Did you know that donkey milk can not only be used to make cheese, but that it is also one of the rarest and most valuable cheeses in the world? Rich in proteins, vitamins, and minerals, especially lysozyme and lactoferrin, which are natural antibacterial agents, donkey milk cheese offers a purer, more delicate flavor compared to cow or goat cheese. However, because donkey milk contains lower levels of protein and fat, the cheese-making process requires highly specialized and precise techniques to achieve the right texture and taste. A portion of the milk, after being collected, is pasteurized and packaged as fresh milk for direct consumption, either for nutritional or medical purposes. The remaining milk undergoes a strict processing procedure to produce donkey cheese, a premium product that requires delicate techniques and extended aging to achieve its distinctive flavor and texture. At small farms or those using traditional methods, cheese is meticulously handcrafted to preserve its delicate character and natural flavor. After being carefully filtered, the milk is poured into small aging vats, where natural cultures or enzymes are added to trigger coagulation. Once the milk solidifies, the curd is cut manually with knives and gently pressed using clean cloths to remove excess whey. Temperature, humidity, and timing are adjusted based on the cheesemaker's experience and refined intuition, rather than relying solely on machinery. And of course, the value of donkeys goes beyond the milk provided by the gentle females. Donkey meat is also considered a nutritious red meat that is gaining popularity in the market. After about 18 to 24 months from birth, donkeys reach maturity, weighing between 200 and 250 kilograms and standing around 1.2 meters tall, meeting the standards to become an important part of the processing industry. At this stage, they are transported using specialized multi-level trucks designed to ensure the safety and well-being of the animals during transit. The farmers guide the herd of donkeys onto the truck. However, compared to cattle, horses, or other hoofed livestock, donkeys are far more stubborn and difficult to manage. As a result, transporting donkeys often requires more time and effort, demanding patience and proper techniques to keep the herd calm and safe. Once everything is in order, the trucks begin to roll, carrying the donkeys to a new destination, where modern processing facilities await. A new journey begins, one that brings the value of this animal closer to its mission of serving the global demand for food and premium products. Upon arrival at the facility, ramps are lowered and the donkeys are guided into a designated resting area. After a brief resting period, the donkeys are moved into the processing stage, beginning with a series of preliminary steps such as stunning, bleeding, skinning, and evisceration. This process is carried out under strict hygiene protocols in a closed, sanitary environment to ensure the highest meat quality. Once completed, only the deep red cuts of meat remain, which are hung on racks for further thorough cleaning, rapid chilling, and classification. The carcasses are then divided into specific cuts such as loin, shoulder, rump, or shank, each offering distinct tenderness, sweetness, and muscle texture, suitable for a wide variety of cooking methods like grilling, stewing, stir-frying, or drying. Donkey meat is characterized by its rich dark red color, firm grain, low fat content, and high levels of protein, iron, zinc, and other natural minerals. After classification, the meat is moved to the packaging area. Here, each cut is vacuum sealed and clearly labeled with information on origin, expiration date, and quality standards. The products are then stored at deep freeze temperatures to maintain freshness and safety throughout the distribution process. Thanks to a methodical and tightly controlled production line, donkey meat not only meets domestic standards, but also qualifies for export to some of the most demanding markets around the world. The donkey's hide, the most valuable part and the core of a billion-dollar industry, is certainly not to be overlooked. After being carefully removed from the donkey's body, the hide is swiftly transported to specialized factories to be processed into donkey gelatin, a rare and highly sought-after product worldwide. At the factory, the donkey hides are thoroughly cleaned to remove impurities. Then, the hides are cut into small pieces and soaked in water for several hours to soften the tough collagen fibers. Next, the softened hides are slowly simmered in large, controlled temperature pots for many hours. This gentle cooking process allows the collagen and beneficial nutrients from the hide to gradually dissolve into the solution, creating a rich, thick, nutrient-dense broth. Once the mixture reaches the desired concentration, it is carefully filtered to remove solid residues and then further concentrated until it thickens. The hot gelatinous liquid is poured into molds and cooled until it solidifies into smooth, shiny black blocks. Each piece of donkey gelatin is the result of a meticulous and labor-intensive process. This product is highly valued for its high collagen content and is commonly used to nourish the body, improve skin elasticity, and enhance physical strength. No matter how harsh life may be, every product derived from this gentle and resilient animal stands as a vivid testament to its silent but invaluable contributions to human health and traditional medicine across many cultures. According to data from the Arctic Council and FAO, there are currently around 5.3 million reindeer in the world, nearly double the number from 50 years ago. A clear testament to the enduring vitality of sustainable herding models maintained over centuries. From the rich taiga forests of the Duka people, the frozen steppes of the Nenets, to northern Europe where the Sami uphold the tradition of ear marking, all together form a unique nomadic ecosystem, where reindeer not only sustain human life, but also preserve culture and the spirit of the wild. Compared to other deer species, reindeer possess remarkable biological adaptations. Their hollow fur traps heat efficiently and even changes with the seasons. Their eyes adjust to low winter light for better vision, and their flexible hooves can contract or spread depending on the terrain, all of which make them a perfect survival machine in some of the harshest environments on Earth. With their fairy tale appearance, reindeer are best known as the sleigh-pulling companions of Saint Nicholas during the Christmas season, an image deeply embedded in global pop culture. Surprisingly, beyond their symbolic beauty, reindeer play a vital economic role for nomadic communities, with an estimated value of around $300 to $400 million per year. Their meat is high in protein, low in fat, and considered one of the cleanest red meats in the world, while their hide and milk are essential resources that help Arctic herders survive the biting cold. And as magical as the story may seem, every journey begins with the most fundamental instinct gifted by nature, the drive to reproduce. For reindeer, the extraordinary life at the edge of the world also begins with that very moment. From September to November each year, reindeer enter their mating season, also known as the rut. During this time, mature males become unusually aggressive. Their antlers, typically used for digging through snow to find food, now become weapons in fierce battles for mating rights. When the battle ends, the victor earns the right to mate, while the loser can only stand on the sidelines and watch. As a reward, the dominant male may gather a harem of 5 to 15 females, securing the next generation in the endless cycle of survival across the frozen wilderness. After the mating season ends, female reindeer begin a pregnancy that lasts over 7 months, with only one calving cycle per year. Remarkably, just 1 to 2 hours after birth, the newborn calf can stand, run alongside its mother, and quickly integrate into the herd. It is this strong herd instinct and social nature that give them an exceptional ability to survive, allowing them to adapt to the harsh subarctic environment and the ancient migratory journeys their species has followed for thousands of years. In certain special cases, young reindeer have their developing antlers removed to prevent abnormal growth that could injure the head or to reduce the risk of injury within the herd as they mature. This procedure is typically performed when the calves are between 1 and 3 months old, a period considered the golden window for intervention, as the antlers are just beginning to grow, still soft, with minimal blood flow, making the process easier and less traumatic. Unlike cattle, goats, or sheep, a distinctive feature of reindeer herding in the far north is that it is primarily organized as semi-wild grazing. With their rare ability to navigate using the position of the sun, the Earth's magnetic field, and even the aurora borealis, reindeer herds roam freely across vast stretches of tundra and expansive taiga forests, migrating with the seasons in search of natural food sources. Reindeer can dig deep beneath thin layers of snow to find and graze on lichen, moss, grasses, and leaves. Thanks to their sensitive noses, designed with thousands of tiny blood vessels inside that help them detect the scent of hidden forage beneath the snow. Today, climate change has made migrations more perilous than ever, forcing herders to intervene more often to guide the herds, sometimes across distances of 300 to 500 kilometers, toward the last patches of vegetation surviving beneath the ice. Another secret golden key to coping with these harsh conditions lies in providing supplemental feeding to maintain the overall condition of the reindeer herd and ensure their adaptability. At feeding time, with a deep understanding of the animal's natural behavior, these bundles are gently unwrapped, allowing the reindeer to approach and softly paw and sniff through them, mimicking their instinctive foraging movements as they search for lichen beneath the snow. In more modern areas, herders use mechanized feeders to distribute feed in long lines across the ground, ensuring even access and minimizing competition within the herd. This approach blends traditional methods with modern efficiency, supporting the sustainable development of today's semi-wild reindeer herding systems. Each year, as the ground begins to be blanketed with snow and the reindeer return to lower altitudes to escape the cold, typically around 7 to 8 months after calves are born in the spring, herders organize a large-scale roundup. To manage these vast herds spread across rugged subarctic landscapes, herders combine traditional skills with modern tools, including snowmobiles, trained herding dogs, and even helicopters. In regions like northern Scandinavia, helicopters are used to locate and guide widely dispersed reindeer, making the roundup faster and more efficient across terrain that would otherwise be nearly inaccessible. This is not just herding. It is a form of ancestral artistry, a living tradition passed down through generations by communities who have survived through a deep and sustainable relationship with the wild. Meanwhile, in regions with milder climates, such as Mongolia, parts of Central Asia, or the southern edges of Siberia, reindeer herding and management take on a slightly different form. Here, reindeer are not fully free-ranging like in Northern Europe, but are instead raised in closer proximity to humans under a semi-nomadic system. Herders, such as the Duka community in Mongolia, usually keep smaller herds of 20 to 100 animals, manageable by hand on a daily basis. During the day, the reindeer roam the forest in search of food, but by evening, they are brought back to camp and tethered near tents for easier monitoring and protection from predators or theft. In this semi-nomadic herding model, healthcare is carried out more regularly, with designated enclosures or temporary fenced areas set up in forested regions to facilitate handling, monitoring, and treatment. After bringing the herd back to camp, herders monitor the animals closely and isolate any individuals showing signs of illness for further inspection. Reindeer have strong wild instincts and often panic when approached or restrained for vaccination, so herders must handle them gently and with proper technique to ensure the process is safe and effective. To prevent outbreaks of pasteurellosis, lungworm, and other parasites, vaccinations are administered to reindeer on a regular schedule. Though given manually, these injections serve as a simple yet vital measure to protect herd health in semi-domesticated settings. By contrast, in cold climate countries like Norway, Finland, and Sweden, the sorting process is far more complex and large-scale, as herds can number in the thousands. Once the herd is rounded up into a centralized area, herders guide the reindeer into a series of concentric circular pens, divided into smaller sections for easier handling. Each reindeer is then sorted based on age, sex, health condition, or intended purpose, allowing for precise management of large, free-ranging herds. For reindeer calves around 4 to 6 months old, this is the ideal time for herders to perform ear marking, a traditional yet vital method of managing semi-wild herds. Each herder has a unique pattern, like a personal signature, that is cut directly into the edge of the ear in a specific shape. In some areas, instead of cutting, herders use plastic tags with numbers or color codes to make identification easier. These marks help determine ownership, track individual history, distinguish animals in shared grazing areas, and support collective herd management. Among the Sami people of Northern Europe, ear marking carries deep cultural significance, passed down from generation to generation as a symbol of family identity in the vast wilderness. After a long period of patient waiting by the herders, the reindeer will now be sorted for three main purposes: selecting the healthiest individuals for breeding, isolating those requiring treatment or health monitoring, and sending thousands of weaker or underperforming animals into the slaughter process for meat, hides, and antlers. Unlike the processing of other livestock, reindeer are highly sensitive to stress, especially during long-distance transport. For this reason, they are typically processed directly at centralized gathering points near the grazing areas first. The hide is separated and processed into premium leather products priced between $100 and $300, used to make boots, gloves, handbags, and traditional garments, bringing in tens of millions of dollars annually for the reindeer industry. And most importantly, the carcasses are collected and stored in cold conditions before being transported to specialized processing facilities for further refinement. At the factory, reindeer meat is carefully received and inspected according to strict food safety standards. The hide is removed to reveal the carcass, which is then butchered by workers into specific cuts such as loin, leg, ribs, neck, and internal organs. Compared to beef, reindeer meat is darker red in color, high in protein, low in fat, and virtually free of cholesterol. It's a highly valued food across Northern Europe, often referred to as clean meat, free from industrial farming, growth hormones, and rich in the unique flavors of the wild. No matter how many winters pass, reindeer remain a powerful symbol, linking humans to the frozen lands they call home, and ensuring the nomadic culture of the far north endures and thrives. In the natural world, only a handful of species possess the ability to regenerate a body part, and deer are one of nature's rare miracles. Each year at the start of spring, a deer's old antlers fall off, and from the base, a new life begins to emerge. That new growth is velvet antler, soft, developing antlers nourished by a dense network of blood vessels, rich in collagen and rare minerals. Surprisingly, harvesting velvet not only causes no harm, but actually brings relief to the deer when the antlers grow too large. This is a sustainable, annual process that reflects a humane way of working with nature. Behind their gentle appearance and innocent eyes, deer can sometimes become unintended troublemakers in modern life. In the US, there are over 1.5 million deer-related vehicle collisions each year, most occurring in the fall, when they dart across highways during mating season. Beyond traffic hazards, deer also sneak into people's backyards, devouring vegetables and tearing up flower beds, leaving scenes of chaos that make homeowners shake their heads in frustration. So what have humans done to turn this unruly creature into a source of highly prized products? It all begins on lush, peaceful farms full of life, where these citizens of the crimson velvet don't merely exist, but enjoy a life truly worthy of their four-legged nobility. Deer farms typically span 5 to 10 hectares, meticulously planned to combine enclosed barns with open grazing areas. This setup allows for attentive care while still preserving the natural rhythms and instincts of these unique animals. Inside the barns are sturdy, well-ventilated stalls with clean flooring, fixed feeding troughs, and even a dedicated mini clinic to monitor the herd's health. But it's the outdoor space that truly feels like home for the deer. In these open areas, they can move freely and bask in sunlight, a vital source of vitamin D that supports metabolism and bone development. Conversely, if confined to closed or cramped spaces for extended periods, deer can experience stress, which negatively affects the overall health and uniformity of the herd. The key factor behind a pair of smooth, symmetrical, and glossy antlers lies in the deer's diet. As herbivores, deer have a particular fondness for fresh, tender grass shoots found on open pastures. But they're not picky eaters. In fact, deer are known for their surprisingly adventurous palate. From sweet watermelon slices to a few M&Ms offered by curious visitors, they'll gladly give almost anything a try and usually polish it off in no time. That's why, to ensure even and healthy antler growth, the deer's diet at farms is carefully calculated, balancing energy, protein, and essential minerals. In addition to fresh grass, they're given a custom nutritional mix made from ground corn, soybeans, rice bran, and vital micronutrients, all finely milled and pelletized for easier digestion and optimal nutrient absorption. At feeding time, the herd leisurely follows a red feed cart as it winds its way through the open fields. The pellets are evenly scattered across the grass, allowing each deer to naturally and orderly access its share. And then, harvest season arrives. When the antlers reach their ideal maturity, typically between 50 and 70 days, they are considered ready for collection. This is when the velvet is at its peak nutritional value. Blood vessels are still highly active, while the bone tissue inside has yet to begin ossifying, maximizing both the biological and medicinal benefits of the product. At larger farms, or in cases where the deer are particularly skittish and unwilling to enter restraint systems, remote tranquilizer darts may be used. Unlike what's seen in action movies, these tools are designed to deliver a mild sedative that simply induces light sleep, allowing the deer to gently lie down without resistance. After being sedated, deer are often blindfolded to reduce stress and minimize environmental stimuli. Even under sedation, they may still react to light or sound, so covering their eyes helps keep them calm and prevents sudden movements. Additionally, the blindfold protects their eyes from dust or accidental contact during handling and transport. This simple measure plays an important role in ensuring the deer's safety and comfort. Before harvesting velvet antlers, farms must carry out thorough inspections. The person in charge uses a specialized measuring tool to determine the length and diameter of the antlers, while also observing their color, sheen, and surface temperature. After that, the deer is given mild anesthesia or local anesthesia to ensure it feels no pain. Technicians wear medical gloves and use specialized instruments to carry out the procedure. A tourniquet or intravenous catheter is placed around the base of the antlers to minimize bleeding during removal. Once the antlers are secured, the velvet is carefully cut using a specialized saw, followed by immediate sterilization and bleeding control. The entire process is conducted with great care and under sterile conditions to ensure the animal's safety and preserve the quality of the harvested velvet. After the velvet is harvested, the deer are taken to a separate pen lined with dry straw to rest and recover. They are closely monitored for several days to ensure their condition stabilizes. This is a high-precision procedure, carefully controlled to minimize pain, so much so that many deer are able to stand and walk again just a few hours later. No longer bearing the proud antlers like a regal crown on their heads, the deer return to their gentle, bewildered appearance, quietly awaiting the start of a new cycle. Soon after, the special journey of the velvet antlers continues at the processing facility, where each young pair is transformed into a valuable medicinal product. Each batch first goes through a preliminary inspection line, where weight, color, shape, and thickness are assessed. Based on these criteria, the antlers are carefully sorted to group samples with similar characteristics. The first step in processing deer velvet involves immersing it in boiling water. The antlers are placed into large vats where the temperature is maintained precisely at 100 degrees Celsius, not a degree more or less, as any fluctuation could alter the internal protein structure. This is one of the most critical stages of the entire process. It helps fix the shape of the velvet, gently cooks the living tissue without denaturing its active compounds, and also serves as a natural sterilization method. Thanks to this treatment, the velvet retains its color, texture, and medicinal properties for the next stages of processing. Once cooked at the appropriate temperature, each pair of deer velvet is carefully removed and moved on to the next stage, drying. Depending on the desired final product, the factory may choose thermal drying in ovens, in a sealed room with fully controlled temperature and humidity, or natural air drying in a well-ventilated space with large windows. During drying, deer velvet can lose up to 60 to 70% of its original weight due to moisture evaporation. This significant reduction is one of the reasons why dried velvet becomes more valuable, reflecting the loss during the production process. When the surface reaches the desired level of dryness, the velvet is subjected to flame singeing using a gas torch. A gentle, precise blue flame passes over the outer layer to remove any remaining fine hairs without burning or damaging the velvet's internal structure. Once thoroughly cleaned, deer velvet enters the slicing stage, the moment when the hidden secrets within each antler are revealed. Who would have thought that beneath the soft fur lies a vivid, circulatory map filled with thousands of tiny, precious capillaries? Depending on the intended use, velvet can be sliced lengthwise to preserve the full tissue structure, which is ideal for products that utilize the whole piece. At the factory, deer velvet is typically cross-cut using specialized machines, producing uniformly thin slices just 1 to 2 millimeters thick. What's remarkable is that no two slices ever look exactly the same. Like fingerprints, each pair of antlers has its own unique biological grain, making the assessment of premium-grade velvet sometimes rely on both visual inspection and expert experience. After being carefully sliced into thin, even pieces, deer velvet undergoes a final drying phase, known as the finishing dry. This step is crucial to ensure absolute dryness in each slice, preventing the growth of bacteria, mold, or other harmful agents during long-term storage. Finally, each slice of velvet is carefully packaged in elegant boxes, sealed, labeled for traceability, and prepared to enter the market, carrying with it the long story behind its journey from the forest to the hands of the consumer. In addition to velvet, the most valuable part of the antlers, venison is also selectively harvested, typically from older deer, those no longer capable of reproduction, or individuals that do not meet physical standards for continued breeding. At the appropriate time, these deer are sent to a biosecure processing facility where premium quality meat is produced. This meat is high in protein, low in fat, and especially rich in natural iron. From there, each subsequent stage is carried out in a professional, step-by-step manner, using specialized machinery combined with the skilled hands of trained technicians. The meat is then vacuum sealed and deep frozen to preserve its fresh flavor and texture throughout the entire transportation process to the end consumer. While certain individuals are selectively harvested for meat, the healthiest and most superior deer take on a different, vital mission: preserving and enhancing the genetic quality of future generations. Depending on farming conditions and breeding objectives, farmers may choose between natural mating and artificial insemination. In natural breeding, top-quality stags are carefully selected, strong, genetically sound, with a history of large, well-balanced, high-quality antlers, and released into the doe herd during the breeding season, typically from late autumn to early winter. In these spacious semi-wild environments, natural encounters occur instinctively, helping maintain genetic diversity and pass on desirable traits. However, in large-scale farms or when strict genetic control is required, artificial insemination becomes the ideal choice. Semen from superior stags is collected and cryopreserved under sterile conditions, then introduced into the female at the precise moment of ovulation, determined by monitoring physiological cycles and specific behavioral signs. Although this method demands high technical expertise and precision, it allows for better genetic control, is not dependent on weather conditions, and enables selective breeding using only the very best individuals. During pregnancy, the doe is carefully monitored and given regular ultrasounds to track fetal development, determine gestational age, and detect any early signs of abnormalities. After about 7 months of pregnancy, the doe begins to go into labor, usually at dawn or dusk, when the surroundings are quiet and the light is soft. Each birth typically results in a single fawn, and the process unfolds gently and naturally, just as nature intended. Moments after birth, the newborn fawn struggles to lift itself on its trembling legs. Though still clumsy, its strong survival instincts drive it to stand and seek out its first taste of milk, rich in antibodies and essential nutrients for its fragile body. Within the first week, the fawn is given an identification mark, usually a small tattoo or an ear tag, and receives its first vaccine to begin building long-term immunity. By the end of the first month, once its digestive system has stabilized, the fawn begins to nibble on tender grass and is gradually introduced to concentrate feed, a high-energy blend made from natural ingredients. This marks the beginning of its journey toward maturity and the silent formation of the strong antlers it will one day grow.
Spring arrives on the endless grasslands, and after months of careful care, special diets, meticulous grooming, and plenty of attention, it's finally time for the sheep to shed their fluffy coats. Before shearing begins, the flock undergoes thorough health checks and sorting. This ensures that the sheep are strong enough for the process and allows farmers to separate the highest quality wool for premium production, maximizing the value of the harvest. Now comes the defining moment, the wool transformation, where skilled hands and modern technology work in perfect harmony. Sheep are sheared using specialized electric clippers with razor-sharp blades and high-powered motors, capable of handling around 25 sheep per hour. This process requires precision and expertise, as the shearer must stretch out the wool and move the clippers smoothly along the sheep's body and legs, ensuring clean cuts without harming the animal. Once the soft fleece is removed, it undergoes an initial sorting process. The finest wool is carefully packed into large bales, then securely sealed to protect it from dirt and moisture, preserving its quality. From here, these tightly bundled wool bales are loaded onto specialized transport trucks or shipping containers, beginning their journey to textile factories. There, they will be processed into high-quality wool fibers that fuel the global fashion industry. When wool bales arrive at the factory, they undergo a meticulous sorting process to ensure that each fiber is utilized appropriately. Skilled workers carefully evaluate the wool based on fineness, length, crimp, color, and cleanliness. The finest and softest wool, typically sourced from the back and sides of the sheep, holds the highest value, while wool from the legs and belly is of lower quality. After sorting, the wool is transferred to large washing and scouring tanks. high-capacity machines use hot water combined with special detergents to remove impurities such as grease, dirt, and dust. The wool is first soaked in a scouring solution and then thoroughly rinsed to eliminate any remaining residues. It is then passed through a centrifugal extractor to remove excess moisture. This step accelerates the drying process while preserving the natural structure of the fibers, preventing tangling or damage. Once cleaned, the wool is placed into specialized drying machines that maintain a controlled temperature between 50 and 70 degrees Celsius. This process effectively removes moisture without compromising fiber integrity. The drying phase typically lasts between 4 to 6 hours. After drying, the wool is processed through an opening machine, which fluffs and softens the fibers, preparing them for the next stage. The carding process is crucial for straightening and untangling the fibers. During the initial carding phase, the wool is spread out and passed through large rotating drums that separate individual fibers while removing any remaining impurities. This process forms a thin, continuous strand of wool known as sliver, which is prepared for the next stage. For high-quality wool, an additional combing process is performed to remove short fibers, producing a smoother, more uniform texture. The final product from this stage, known as top wool, consists of long, fine fibers that meet the highest standards for spinning. After carding, the wool is fed into spinning machines, where thousands of fibers are twisted together simultaneously to create yarn. These high-capacity machines can produce between 100 and 200 kilograms of yarn per day. During this process, the tension and thickness of the yarn are carefully adjusted to ensure uniform quality and consistency. Once spun into yarn, the wool can be processed into textiles through two primary methods: weaving or knitting. In weaving, the yarn is fed into modern weaving machines, where it is interlaced in an automated process to form soft yet durable fabric. These machines can produce several meters to dozens of meters of fabric per minute. Alternatively, knitting can be performed by machines or by hand to create products such as sweaters, hats, and socks. This method offers versatility in design and texture, producing high-quality woolen garments that are warm and comfortable. But the mission of these gentle creatures of the pasture does not end here. Inside modern lamb processing plants, advanced machinery works in perfect harmony with skilled workers to produce premium lamb cuts, delivering exquisite flavors to connoisseurs around the world. Skilled workers use sharp knives to carefully separate the hide in difficult areas such as the legs. Automated cutting systems ensure uniformity and maintain quality across all portions. Afterward, the lamb cuts move to the packaging section, where each piece is securely sealed in protective packaging to maintain optimal freshness. But did you know that before becoming high-quality wool and premium lamb cuts, these sheep embark on an incredible journey across the oceans to fulfill their new mission? At the farms, before embarking on their long voyage, the sheep undergo health monitoring, weight checks, and physical condition assessments. This ensures they are in peak condition, adapting well to new environments while maintaining the highest standards of wool and meat quality. On the day of departure, the sheep are guided through designated corridors onto specialized multi-tiered livestock transport trucks, an important innovation in modern livestock transportation. These trucks are designed to maximize space efficiency while ensuring the safety and well-being of the animals throughout the journey. Each truck consists of 2 to 4 tiers, with each tier capable of holding up to 150 sheep, bringing the total load to over 20 tons per trip. Metal mesh partitions separate compartments to minimize sudden movements and reduce stress among the sheep. The flooring is designed with an anti-slip surface, complete with ventilation systems, and some trucks even feature automatic water supply systems to ensure the sheep remain hydrated during transit. Before departure, absorbent bedding materials such as sawdust, dry straw, or sand are spread across the floors to absorb waste, maintaining cleanliness and reducing the risk of slipping. On long journeys, these bedding materials are periodically replaced to ensure hygiene, keeping the sheep in optimal health before they board the ship. Once all preparations are complete, these massive transport trucks set off toward the port, where the sheep's ocean voyage truly begins. At the port, the sheep are guided onto the ship via a specially designed ramp system that facilitates smooth and safe boarding. These enormous livestock transport vessels feature 5 to 7 decks with a total capacity of up to 70,000 sheep per voyage. Over the course of their journey, the ship consumes approximately 21,000 gallons of water daily, equivalent to the water usage of 120 American households. An automated misting system is activated to maintain an optimal temperature range of 68 degrees Celsius to 73 degrees Fahrenheit, preventing heat stress among the sheep. Additionally, a team of onboard veterinarians constantly monitors their health. If signs of stress, dehydration, or illness are detected, affected sheep are moved to designated care areas for recovery before continuing their journey. Every day, the flock consumes over 12 tons of feed, enough to fill a heavy-duty truck. The feed is formulated to strict standards, ensuring the sheep remain in peak condition upon arrival at their destination. When the ship docks at its final destination, the sheep are unloaded under strict supervision to ensure their safety and well-being. A specialized ramp system allows for smooth disembarkation, minimizing the risk of injury or stress after their long journey. From the vast pastures of Australia, these sheep travel across oceans to new lands, continuing their mission of providing high-quality wool and premium meat to meet the demands of global industries and consumers.
Wagyu, which means Japanese cow in is more than just a cattle breed. It's considered a culinary national treasure of the land of the rising sun. Each year, Japan exports over $500 million worth of Wagyu beef, mainly to gourmet markets like the United States, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Wagyu's global fame lies in its signature marbling, the intricate web of intramuscular fat that runs like fine veins through the meat. Wagyu's marbling can exceed 40%, far surpassing the 5 to 10% typically found in regular beef. As a result, Wagyu melts at around body temperature, 30 degrees Celsius, delivering a buttery, rich, and melt-in-your-mouth experience, with prices reaching up to $1,000 per kilogram. For the Japanese, the Wagyu brand is protected more fiercely than gold. Renowned names like Kobe, Matsusaka, Omi, and Hida aren't just regions. They are icons of heritage, governed with strict regulations, much like the prestigious Bordeaux wines of France. Today, Wagyu is also raised in countries like Australia, the US, and Canada. But only purebred Japanese Wagyu truly preserves the class and soul of what's known as the red gold of the culinary world. To produce Wagyu cattle that yield melt-in-your-mouth beef with exquisite marbling, each worth tens of thousands of dollars, everything must be precise from the very first step, breeding. Today, most Wagyu farms rely on artificial insemination to control genetics, selecting only the best traits from elite bulls with exceptional marbling scores. The cows are also carefully chosen based on health and lineage before entering the breeding cycle. Semen collected from the bull is processed, cryopreserved, and then injected into the cow's uterus. Before this, farmers manually remove feces from the rectum and clean the vulva to maintain hygiene, prevent infection, and accurately locate the insemination site. Once everything is ready, the semen is inserted using a thin tube called a catheter, reaching the cervix, where fertilization occurs. Though the procedure takes only a few minutes, it lays the foundation for a nearly 3-year journey to produce some of the most valuable Wagyu beef in the world. After fertilization, the cow remains pregnant for over 9 months before giving birth. Wagyu cows typically deliver only 1 calf per pregnancy, allowing the calf to develop fully and ensuring the highest future meat quality. When the calf is born, it is still wet and weak. The mother cow licks the calf clean to warm it up, stimulate blood circulation, and establish the initial bond between mother and offspring. But within 30 minutes to an hour, it begins trying to stand and instinctively searches for its mother's udder to drink colostrum, a vital first source of nutrition. During the first 3 months after birth, Wagyu calves receive special care to ensure strong immunity and steady growth. The most critical early stage is providing enough colostrum within the first 6 to 12 hours, which transfers essential antibodies from the mother. After that, the calf continues to nurse from the mother or is fed a specialized milk formula with added minerals and vitamins if necessary. In the first few weeks, it's vital to keep the calf warm, and the shelter must remain dry and clean to prevent diarrhea, a common illness in newborn calves. From around the 2nd to 3rd week, farmers gradually introduce soft hay and concentrated feed to prepare the calf for eventual weaning. When Wagyu calves reach 3 to 4 months of age, they are weaned and moved to special pens for young cattle. Calves are grouped by age, with 5 to 10 animals per group, living in spacious barns lined with thick, dry straw to retain warmth, absorb waste, and prevent slipping. Their environment is kept quiet and well ventilated, as Wagyu cattle are especially sensitive to stress and surroundings. Each morning, old straw is removed and manure is collected using shovels or specialized suction machines, then replaced with fresh, dry straw to keep the barn clean and odor-free. Outside resting hours, the cattle are let out into open yards or nearby grassy areas at fixed times for light exercise. This free movement not only improves metabolism, but also helps reduce stress, a key factor that directly affects future marbling quality. Alongside housing conditions, the secret to producing melt-in-your-mouth Wagyu beef with intricate marbling lies in its unique diet. Unlike conventional beef cattle, which are raised quickly for maximum weight using fresh grass and byproducts to cut costs, Wagyu are raised slowly on a diet rich in starch and low in fiber. This includes hay, straw, rice bran, grains, brewer's mash, and fermented soybeans. Wagyu are fed 2 to 3 times a day, with carefully balanced exquisite marbling and sky-high value. Beyond diet and exercise, Wagyu cattle are cared for like true VIPs. To maintain physical condition and prevent illness, their hooves are trimmed every 2 to 3 months, a seemingly minor task but essential for joint health and maintaining a strong, stable gait. Their coats are also brushed with soft brushes to remove dirt, stimulate blood circulation, and help them relax, especially during hot weather. Though these steps may sound simple, they play a crucial role in keeping Wagyu cattle calm and healthy. And a relaxed, well-cared-for body is the foundation for producing rich, tender meat that no growth-enhancing technology can replicate. After nearly 3 years of being pampered like four-legged royalty, Wagyu cattle enter their final stage, preparation for harvest. A premium-grade Wagyu must be between 28 to 32 months old, weigh at least 600 to 700 kilograms, and have the ideal marbling ratio, strong physical condition, and stable mental state. Farmers carefully guide the cattle onto specially designed transport trucks equipped with non-slip floors, roofs, and partitioned sections to ensure safety and comfort throughout the journey. As a sensitive breed, Wagyu must be transported gently, without rushing, and with minimal loud noise to avoid stress. Upon arrival at the processing facility, the cattle are guided into a designated resting area. This recovery period allows the animals to recover from transportation, stabilize their heart rate, reduce stress, and regulate blood circulation. The processing begins as the cattle are brought onto the production line, where the hide and internal organs are removed in one piece and transferred to specialized handling areas. Once these steps are completed, the remaining carcass is hung on a rack using dedicated hooks to keep the body upright and balanced. Next, the carcass is split in half along the spine, a critical step that ensures precise chilling and grading in the subsequent stages. The factory environment is kept cool and dry, with spotless, polished floors to maintain hygiene and ensure a smooth, uninterrupted workflow. After the initial processing, the carcass is moved into the chilling room, a sealed space maintained at a stable temperature between 0 to 2 degrees Celsius, with around 85% humidity, for 24 to 36 hours, allowing the muscle fibers to fully relax, moisture to distribute evenly, and internal biochemical reactions to continue slowly. Under angled inspection lights, specialists examine key indicators: fineness, density, coverage, and uniformity of the intramuscular fat, the traits that define Wagyu's aesthetic appeal and signature melt-in-your-mouth texture when cooked. Based on these results, the meat is classified into different quality grades, typically labeled with scores or letters according to each country's or plant's standards. Every graded section is tagged with traceability labels detailing origin, aging date, and classification code. In Japan, Wagyu beef is graded using a system that combines letters A or C with numbers from 1 to 5. The letter indicates the yield, how much usable meat is obtained after butchering, while the number reflects the meat quality, including color, tenderness, and especially marbling, the fine white streaks of fat running through the muscle. A5 is the highest grade, meaning the cow yields a high amount of meat with near-perfect quality. The top-rated A5 cuts, especially those from famed regions like Kobe, Matsusaka, or Hida, are brought to exclusive auctions for valuation. There, each cut is hung under angled lighting to highlight its marble-like fat patterns. Experts and distributors can assess a cut's worth with just a glance. Prices are not fixed. Depending on perfection, origin, and brand, a single cut can fetch tens of thousands of US dollars. High-end restaurants, five-star hotels, and luxury retailers fiercely compete to acquire these elite Wagyu cuts, not just for their quality, but for the prestige and status they represent. From the grading area, the carcasses are moved to the next processing zone, a quiet, focused space where concentration is held at an almost meditative level. Every movement here is steady and deliberate, as if everyone understands they are working with an ingredient that is not only valuable, but also requires the utmost respect and care. Before butchering begins, the back and belly fat, prized for their light color, softness, and elasticity, are carefully removed. These are preserved whole and sent to a specialized section for use in premium product lines or high-end culinary applications. The carcass is then laid on a cutting table and separated according to its natural muscle structure: ribeye, brisket, shank, shoulder. Each cut is handled with precision to preserve the marbling patterns nurtured over hundreds of days. Every slice is then inspected, neatly arranged in trays, or vacuum sealed on the spot. Packaging follows immediately, seamless, without delay, and with minimal exposure to outside air. A traceability label is printed and applied the same day, showing origin, processing date, and specific cut type. This entire flow blends precision machinery with skilled hands. Workers trained not just to see and touch, but to sense quality through experience. No software can replicate. This balance ensures the factory maintains consistent output while preserving the full value of each cut, just as it was when first carved. But have you ever wondered, how do you cook a piece of Wagyu beef that's as precious as red gold to truly honor its value? In reality, grilling Wagyu is surprisingly simple, and it's that very simplicity that brings out its true excellence. Each slice is left at room temperature for 15 to 20 minutes before cooking to allow the fat to soften evenly and avoid thermal shock. Then, it's placed on a cast iron pan or grill, preheated to around 200 to 220 Celsius. No oil, no elaborate seasoning, just a pinch of fine salt. Each side is seared for only 30 to 45 seconds, just enough for the fat to begin melting and form a lightly crisped, aromatic crust, while the inside stays tender, juicy, and rich in flavor. A gentle flip, even sear, and a short resting period. That's all it takes to reach perfection. A bite that melts the moment it touches your tongue. With Wagyu, it's not about complexity. It's about restraint. Letting the natural richness speak for itself is the key to preserving the essence nurtured through every single day of its journey from farm to table. In the world of tuna, the bluefin reigns supreme, a true ocean legend holding countless mosts that set it apart from the rest. With a torpedo-shaped body and swimming speeds of up to 70 km per hour, second only to marlins and swordfish, paired with extraordinary endurance, these giants can migrate across the Atlantic or Pacific Oceans, covering thousands of kilometers without rest. Beneath those powerful muscles lies deep red flesh, rich in myoglobin, the ocean's equivalent of Wagyu beef. Each cut is graded by fat content, with otoro, the buttery melt-in-your-mouth belly, being the most prized, fetching hundreds of dollars for a single slice of sashimi. Japan is currently the largest consumer of bluefin tuna, accounting for over 80% of global demand. Meanwhile, Spain, the United States, Mexico, and Australia play leading roles in catching and fattening these majestic fish. Though bluefin makes up less than 1% of the world's total tuna catch, it brings in a staggering 2 to 3 billion USD annually, making it the backbone of the premium seafood industry. Right now, join me on a thrilling chase between fishermen and the giants of the sea. Trust me, what you're about to witness will keep your eyes glued to the screen. Every June, as offshore waters begin to warm with the shifting currents, bluefin tuna fishing fleets spring into action, marking the start of the most vibrant harvest season of the year. To ensure a successful catch, fishermen must understand the migratory patterns and preferred environmental conditions of this prized species. Bluefin tuna are typically found in deep waters, with temperatures ranging from 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. Areas rich in oxygen and teeming with baitfish like sardines, herring, and squid. The golden hours for casting lines are usually at dawn or dusk, when the tuna move closer to the surface and feed most aggressively. But out in the vast open ocean, one pressing question remains. How do you locate these elusive giants? With lightning-fast speeds and a tendency to dwell in deeper layers, bluefin tuna are notoriously difficult to detect. That's why fishermen rely on a combination of age-old wisdom, such as reading unusual currents or tracking seabirds diving for prey, and modern technology, including advanced sonar systems capable of detecting movement beneath the waves. Each bluefin tuna purse seine expedition begins with meticulous preparation, and bait is the first key to success or failure. On board, live bait tanks, usually containing sardines or herrings, are carefully monitored for temperature and oxygen levels to ensure the bait fish remain healthy and active. Before deploying the net, fishermen scatter small clusters of baitfish into the sea to attract schools of tuna, creating optimal conditions for an accurate and effective net deployment. Once the location of the tuna school is confirmed, the main vessel initiates the encirclement. A smaller auxiliary boat tows the massive purse seine net in a circular motion around the school. These nets can stretch from several hundred to over 1,000 meters long and reach depths of 150 to 200 meters, enough to block the horizontal and vertical escape paths of the fish. The net is equipped with floating buoys at the top and weighted leads at the bottom, forming a sealed wall of water. Once the encirclement is complete, a drawstring at the base of the net is pulled tight, closing it like the mouth of a giant bag, trapping the entire school of tuna inside and preventing any escape. After hours of patient waiting, the sea erupts in a golden moment as the once still water inside the net suddenly surges with movement. Immediately, the crew rushes out and begins hauling in the tuna using specialized gaff hooks, tools specifically designed to safely bring each fish on board. Bluefin tuna are known for their ferocity and immense strength. Many continue to thrash violently, even when pulled close to the surface. Smaller or medium-sized fish can be handled by a single person. But when it comes to the true giants, weighing 200 to 300 kilograms, at least 2 fishermen must work in perfect coordination, keeping the line tight and lifting the fish decisively. In cases where the fish is too large, they maneuver it alongside the boat and use a specialized harpoon to strike precisely at the back. A technique that secures the fish while protecting the prized belly meat from damage. Every move is made with care to ensure the highest commercial quality. In some regions, fishermen also employ mechanical aids like cranes or pulleys to lift the tuna directly onto the boat for transport. Once the battle ends, the sea returns to calm, and the vessel continues its voyage, carrying a deck full of prized catch. Another common method used by fishermen to catch bluefin tuna is long-line fishing. This technique involves deploying a main fishing line that stretches for several kilometers, with hundreds or even thousands of baited hooks attached along its length. These hooks are set at optimal depths to trap schools of tuna right in their natural hunting zones. Longline fishing for bluefin tuna requires live bait that swims naturally to entice the fish to bite on its own. Bluefin are highly sensitive and will only strike if the bait has no unusual smell and moves realistically. Sardines, mackerel, and anchovies are carefully hooked to preserve their natural motion. Artificial or frozen bait is only used when live bait is unavailable. Once the location of a tuna school is identified, fishermen begin releasing the main line, which spans several kilometers and carries hundreds of branch lines baited with live fish like sardines or mackerel. The bait is deployed at depths of 50 to 200 meters, where bluefin tuna typically hunt. The entire setup process is carried out quickly and precisely, resembling a well-planned ambush in the deep ocean. After several hours to half a day, the crew returns to haul in the line. If successful, they'll find massive bluefin tuna, each weighing hundreds of kilograms, gleaming silver in the sunlight as they dangle from the hooks. Once a tuna takes the bait, the retrieval process must be handled with extreme care to avoid spooking the fish, which could lead to violent thrashing, hook loss, or snapped lines. As the massive body of the fish emerges from the water, fishermen quickly secure it by harpooning the upper body or gaffing it through the gills, avoiding the belly where the most valuable cuts of meat are located. The team then works in sync to haul the tuna on board. Immediately afterward, the preservation process begins. The gills are cut and the internal organs removed to lower the body temperature and prevent bacterial growth. Crushed ice is then packed inside the cavity to chill the fish from the inside out, followed by a thick layer of ice covering the entire body on deck. This on-the-spot chilling is the key to maintaining peak freshness, vibrant color, and premium sashimi quality, until the fish reaches the world's top chefs. In Japan, bluefin tuna are typically transported directly to renowned fish markets like Toyosu. The fish are lifted from the boats onto cold concrete floors, tagged with identification labels, traceability codes, and auction numbers to ensure transparency. A high-quality tuna can fetch anywhere from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of USD depending on its fat content, size, and flesh color. After the auction, the tuna are taken to on-site processing areas within the market. Filleting a tuna here is not just a technical task, but an art form that demands precision and deep knowledge of the fish's anatomy. First, the craftsman slices off the tail to inspect meat quality, then removes the head and gills. The body is divided into 4 main sections, 2 back loins and 2 belly loins, with the belly, otoro, being the most prized for its rich fat content. Further cuts remove the skin, tendons, and excess fat, leaving behind perfect sashimi-grade fillets. For top-grade bluefin, otoro can sell for $300–500 per kilogram at the market. In high-end restaurants, even a small slice of otoro sashimi can cost $20–50 or more, depending on its richness and rarity. In addition to fresh auction sales at the market, a large portion of bluefin tuna is frozen immediately on board to serve export demands. This is a crucial solution to meet the enormous global appetite for bluefin, especially for the frozen sashimi market. Large export vessels function as mobile freezing factories, equipped with ultra-low temperature freezers that maintain conditions below 60 degrees Celsius. When the ship docks, each tuna is hooked onto cables and lifted ashore, then immediately transferred to specialized refrigerated trucks with deep freeze compartments. The entire process is closed and continuous to prevent thawing, which would compromise product quality. At the processing plant, frozen bluefin tuna is transferred directly into deep freeze storage, maintained at temperatures below 60 degrees Celsius until it's time for processing. When the handling process begins, crates of tuna are retrieved using specialized forklifts and moved to the cutting area. There, the fish is placed on a conveyor belt, where workers stand ready to precisely separate the valuable cuts of meat. In the rough cutting zone, industrial bandsaws with vertical blades are mounted on reinforced metal tables. Workers, dressed in protective clothing and thick rubber gloves, carefully push each fish through the saw. First, the head, containing mostly bone and little meat, is removed and cut into smaller sections for separate handling. Next, a lengthwise cut from head to tail divides the fish along the spine into 2 halves. The section near the gills, which contains more blood, is removed to ensure hygiene and meat quality. Before filleting, frozen bluefin tuna is passed through an industrial grinder. The high-speed rotating blade removes dried blood, frozen fat, and surface ice, preparing the fish for perfectly precise sashimi cuts in the next stage. Each half is then further divided into 4 equal portions called loins, the most prized cuts, ideal for sashimi and sushi. Finally, these large loins are cut into standardized rectangular blocks, ready for packaging and sorting according to export specifications. The entire process is fast, yet extremely precise. Just a few millimeters of error can significantly reduce the value of the meat. From ancient offshore hunts to modern dining tables, bluefin tuna now face the threat of extinction due to overfishing. Species like the southern bluefin tuna have been listed as critically endangered, prompting international organizations to tighten regulations for their conservation. In response to this crisis, farming bluefin tuna has emerged as a necessary yet highly challenging solution. These fish are long-distance migrators, slow to reproduce, and notoriously difficult to rear in captivity. Nevertheless, countries such as Japan, Australia, and Spain have developed successful fattening models. Juvenile wild-caught tuna are transferred into offshore sea pens and raised for 6 to 12 months before harvest. These massive circular cages, some measuring dozens of meters in diameter, are enclosed with strong nets to prevent escapes and protect the fish from predators. The model helps stabilize supply, maintain meat quality, and ease pressure on wild adult populations. Every day, supply vessels approach the cages to deliver feed, typically frozen sardines or mackerel, chopped and pumped into the pens via rotating nozzles or specialized feeding tubes. Feeding is carefully monitored in terms of timing and quantity to track the tuna's growth, fat content, and flesh coloration, ensuring they meet sashimi-grade standards before being sold. When the tuna reach a weight of 100 to 200 kilograms, harvesting begins, though it must comply with strict quotas since the initial stock still relies on wild-caught juveniles. While farm tuna are generally priced lower than wild-caught ones due to less complex flavor and texture, they continue to meet high export demand worldwide. The journey of the bluefin tuna ends in deep red slices of sashimi, rich, refined, and full of character. Yet this is merely a small cut from the ever-evolving tapestry of global cuisine. Behind every dish lies a world of challenges, change, and hope. And as this journey comes to a close, perhaps another is quietly beginning, full of promise and possibility. The United States ranks only 6th in the world for octopus catch volume, behind China and several other coastal nations. Yet it's the country's network of advanced processing plants, stretching from California to Rhode Island, that truly surprises the world. Hundreds of tons of freshly caught octopus are handled daily with near-perfect precision, rapidly frozen, and exported across 5 continents, turning the U.S. into one of the most sophisticated octopus processing powerhouses on the planet. The octopus is a creature that sparks both fascination and confusion. What most people mistake for its head is actually its body, housing all its internal organs. And its mouth? It's located right in the center of its arms, used to bite and feed, and sits alarmingly close to the anus. As if that weren't strange enough, when mating season arrives, male octopuses don't reproduce in the usual way. Instead, they use a specialized arm called the hectocotylus to deliver sperm into the female's body, sometimes detaching the arm entirely in the process. Gentle in appearance, the octopus is in fact a true predator of the deep. Armed with 8 powerful sucker-lined arms, it wraps tightly around prey, restrains every movement, and then pierces through crab shells with its sharp, beak-like mouth. When threatened, it releases a dense cloud of black ink, creating the perfect smokescreen to vanish in the blink of an eye. Each year, the world consumes over 3 million tons of octopus, and much of that is caught using traditional methods, by trap. Not with trawl nets or massive industrial vessels, but with millions of ceramic or plastic pots dropped to the seafloor by fishermen, mimicking the rocky crevices octopuses love to hide in. In offshore fishing grounds across the Pacific, especially in Japan, South Korea, and the US West Coast, small boats set out as early as 2 or 3 a.m. Octopuses are solitary creatures that hunt at night and retreat to shelter at the first light of dawn. If the traps aren't retrieved in time, they slip away, leaving only empty pots behind. Each boat may carry between 500 and 3,000 traps, operating continuously for days at sea. And this isn't just a hunt for seafood. It's a strategic contest with one of the ocean's most intelligent creatures. In Japan and several coastal regions of China, an ancient method of octopus fishing is still practiced, using a single fishing rod with a sharp hook. No bait, no traps, just a swift jerk of the hand when sensing the subtle pull from the depths. As soon as the octopus breaches the surface, fishermen immediately stab a metal hook into its body and haul it straight onto the deck, because even the slightest delay could see the creature slip away and vanish into the night like a ghost. It may look simple, but this technique demands lightning-fast reflexes and a firm grip, since a fully grown octopus can weigh up to 10 kilograms, slippery and fiercely struggling. What's more, the octopus has no bones. Its body is so flexible it can squeeze through a gap the size of its own eye. That makes holding onto it once it's hooked not just a challenge, but an unforgiving duel between man and one of the ocean's greatest masters of disguise. In the Mediterranean, where deep blue waves kiss ancient coastal villages, many fishermen still rely on traditional octopus fishing using set nets, a method that has lasted for centuries. Long nets are quietly laid out along rocky reefs at night, waiting for unsuspecting octopuses to wander in during their hunt. While not the most efficient, sometimes hundreds of meters of net yield only a few octopuses, tangled with seaweed, small fish, and ocean debris. This method has one major advantage. The octopuses are often still alive and healthy when the boats return to port. This ensures optimal freshness as they're sent directly to processing facilities. And so, despite the rise of modern technology, many coastal communities in the Mediterranean remain loyal to their time-worn nets, preserving both tradition and the essence of the sea. Leaving behind the blue ocean, they embark on a new journey, entering a rigorous processing chain inside modern factories, where cold steel machines transform these intelligent marine creatures into finished products ready to reach the world. Upon arriving at the factory, the first step octopuses must undergo is pre-processing, a crucial starting point in the entire modern handling chain. Each octopus is placed on a workstation where workers manually remove inedible parts, such as the ink sac, internal organs, eyes, and the hard beak located between the arms. This stage is carried out entirely by hand with meticulous care and high precision, aiming to preserve the natural shape and ensure the meat structure remains intact, a key factor in the final product's quality. After the initial pre-processing, the octopus is sent directly to the washing area for thorough external cleaning, preparing it for the next in-depth processing steps. Living close to the seafloor, octopuses often hide in rock crevices, coral, or sandy caves, so their bodies are usually covered in mud, sand, algae, and a protective slime layer. If not properly washed, these impurities can affect both the quality and flavor. That's why this rough cleaning step is mandatory before any further treatment. The octopuses are transferred to a specialized spinning washer, where cold water and centrifugal force work together to remove most of the slime and debris on the skin. This device functions like an industrial seafood washing machine. Octopuses are placed into a spinning chamber, where high-pressure cold water continuously sprays while the chamber rotates, stripping away the sticky layer and contaminants. On average, each cycle can clean 150 to 200 kilograms of octopus in just a few minutes, equivalent to the output of about 15 to 20 workers operating manually. However, due to their many deep grooves and suction cups, slime often remains in areas the machine can't reach. At this stage, workers must hand scrub each octopus using a specialized soft brush, focusing especially on the spaces between tentacles, where bacteria tend to accumulate if not thoroughly cleaned. On average, one worker can clean about 80 to 100 octopuses per hour. This is not just a hygiene step, it's a meticulous, repetitive, and highly precise process. After washing, the octopuses are sorted by weight and size, usually divided into three main categories: under 500 grams, between 500 and 1,000 grams, and over 1 kilogram. After sorting, the octopuses are divided into two main processing directions. Larger ones continue to the boiling and freezing line, while the smaller ones, often referred to as baby octopuses, are taken to the tray packing area. Here, workers carefully arrange each baby octopus into stainless steel trays, with their heads and tentacles aligned in the same direction to form neat, organized rows. Once neatly arranged, the trays are sent straight into the deep freezing chamber. Inside, the temperature is rapidly reduced to below -35 using advanced cooling systems, freezing the octopuses within 1 to 2 hours. This process locks in freshness, preserves the original shape, and inhibits microbial growth. After freezing, each tray is separated, and the octopuses are vacuum-packed in PE bags, passed through a metal detector for food safety, then boxed, labeled with traceability info, and stored at -20, ready for export worldwide. For larger octopuses, post-harvest handling isn't as straightforward as with baby octopuses. Instead of being frozen immediately, they must undergo an important thermal bath, parboiling at 95 to 100 degrees Celsius for several minutes. This step is key to preserving firmness, shape, and color. Skipping it could result in mushy, bland flesh with no elasticity, greatly reducing commercial value. Under near-perfect temperatures, the meat firms up, retaining its moisture and natural sweetness. Then comes the magical transformation. In just a few minutes of boiling water, the octopuses turn from pale gray to a vibrant reddish pink. This color shift isn't due to dyes or tricks. It's a natural biological reaction. You're probably familiar with boiling common seafood, but have you ever wondered why this strange phenomenon happens? Immediately after boiling, the octopuses are plunged into a deep cold water tank for a thermal shock, a crucial step that instantly halts the cooking process, preserves firmness, and prevents overcooking. Without this step, residual heat would continue to cook the meat from within, breaking down the protein structure and resulting in mushy texture and loss of elasticity. From the cold tank, the octopuses move onto a drainage conveyor, where tiny grooves and a stream of cool air help dry the surface quickly and evenly. This preparation step is essential before packaging, as excess moisture can negatively impact both flavor and shelf life. After being perfectly boiled, the bright red octopuses are quickly transferred to the preliminary packaging area, where every operation takes place in a strictly sterile environment. Here, workers carefully arrange each octopus into specialized golden trays, ensuring they lie neatly without bending or overlapping, preserving their elegant appearance like a true culinary artwork. The trays are then wheeled straight into a cold storage room, where the temperature is consistently maintained between 0 and 2 degrees Celsius. This isn't just refrigeration, it's a resting phase that allows the octopus meat to reach optimal texture and freshness, ideal for sashimi slicing or final stage packaging. In the final stage, modern industrial systems take over. Whole octopuses and separated tentacles are placed into form-fitted trays, then passed through a high-speed vacuum sealing and film wrapping line. This all happens at lightning pace, thousands of trays per hour, ensuring that every product meets strict hygiene standards, comes with traceable origins, and is ready to conquer premium supermarket shelves and the world's most demanding markets. In the cold depths of the ocean, the octopus is a quiet, eight-legged creature, masterfully camouflaged along the seafloor. But in the vibrant world of street food, it takes on an entirely different identity, familiar, enticing, and full of charm. From smoky, char-grilled octopus skewers infused with satay aroma to golden takoyaki balls whose crispy shells give way to a creamy center with springy bites of octopus. Each dish delivers a surprising encounter between ocean mystery and urban flavor. No longer a shadowy creature of the deep, the octopus becomes the star of bustling night markets, a humble ingredient with the power to win over even the most discerning palates. If Norway is considered the salmon capital of Europe, producing a staggering 55% of the world's farmed salmon, with massive sea farms spanning hundreds of hectares in icy waters year-round, then the United States is the most advanced salmon processing powerhouse on the planet, where high-tech factories from Alaska to Maine operate around the clock, shaping the global salmon supply chain. Tuna often appears in everyday meals, from sushi to convenient canned products, known for its rich flavor and firm, meaty texture. Salmon, on the other hand, is celebrated for its exceptionally high omega-3 content, buttery soft flesh, and remarkably low mercury levels, making it a safe and nutritious choice for both young children and pregnant women. Salmon around the world mainly comes from two sources: wild farmed, with over 70% of current production originating from coastal farms in cold water regions, Wild salmon travel thousands of kilometers to spawn before ending their life cycle, while farm salmon are raised under conditions as precise as a laboratory. Two very different journeys, yet both contribute to the creation of a global culinary icon. Every August, when salmon fishing season reaches its peak, the waters off Nolesen come alive. Fishing fleets line up, slicing through the waves in search of what many call the silver treasure of the sea. When the radar detects a school of salmon beneath the icy surface, the crew springs into action, deploying massive nets that form a wide arc, slowly tightening to trap the entire shoal in a giant pocket. A single haul can bring in up to 20 tons of salmon, nearly 40,000 fish thrashing in the morning light, spraying water across the deck like a shimmering storm. The ship vibrates with life, rumbling engines, rushing water, shouting crew, all blending into a floating factory at sea. To preserve freshness, the fish are immediately transferred to chilling holds kept near 0 degrees Celsius, slowing biological breakdown and locking in texture and color for hours at sea. Once ashore, these silvery harvests continue their journey to cutting-edge processing plants. For top-grade salmon, destined for sashimi, worth tens of thousands of dollars per ton, the journey may take to the skies. Some shipments fly direct from Norway to Tokyo within 36 hours, arriving just in time to please even the most demanding sushi connoisseurs. However, faced with an increasingly brutal journey of survival, salmon have gradually been guided by humans into farms, through artificial waterways engineered to replace the wild. Each spawning season, they leave the ocean and swim thousands of kilometers upstream to return to the very river where they were born. They battle fierce currents, leap over roaring waterfalls, all to complete their life cycle. But nature has never been gentle on this journey. As they leap up waterfalls, they often come face to face with the infamous brown bears, patient predators lurking at the base, waiting to strike the moment a fish breaks the water's surface. Those that survive it all, the female digs a nest in the cold gravel, the male fertilizes the eggs, and both die in exhaustion. Though each fish can lay thousands of eggs, nature is unforgiving. Only about 1 in 1,000 offspring survive, grow, and are lucky enough to return to the sea and continue the cycle. That's why humans have created an alternative path, where nature is recreated through high technology. In freshwater zones near estuaries, dams and artificial fish ladders not only help the salmon bypass obstacles, but also serve as checkpoints for health and behavioral monitoring. The strongest fish are selected and transferred to specialized tanks, where every condition, from temperature and oxygen to water flow, is precisely controlled, preparing them for the most crucial phase, the collection of eggs and milk, launching a new life cycle under human guidance. In the wild, salmon fertilization is a fierce battle among males, a tense showdown where only the strongest wins. But in fish farms, the process is far more gentle. The only thing the salmon have lost is the chance to choose their own mate. The female is placed on a processing table, where a gentle incision reveals rows of plump, amber-colored eggs, neatly aligned like strands of deep-sea pearls. Depending on the species and size, each fish carries between 2,000 and 10,000 eggs. At the same time, the males are handled with care to extract their milk. Within just 30 to 60 seconds after the eggs are harvested, the sperm must be mixed immediately in a clean, clear tray, free from blood or impurities, as even a single drop can ruin an entire batch. If delayed, the eggs will dry out and lose their ability to be fertilized. While in nature, less than 1% of fertilized salmon eggs survive, in the controlled environment of a hatchery, that success rate can reach up to 90%. The fertilized eggs are immediately transferred into specialized incubation trays, placed within a flowing water system that gently mimics the cool, clear streams where salmon were once born. The water temperature is carefully maintained between 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, refreshingly cold and crystal clear, just enough to awaken the dormant spark of life within each fragile shell. After about 2 weeks, tiny eyes begin to appear inside the eggs, a subtle yet miraculous sign that life is slowly awakening. Around day 45 to 60, the young salmon break free from their shells, entering the sac fry stage, carrying a yolk sac under their belly that sustains them through their first few weeks without the need for food. Once the yolk is absorbed, they transition into the fry stage, where they begin swimming, feeding, and adapting to the flow of water. They are then moved to larger rearing tanks, where every environmental factor is carefully controlled. When they reach about 5 centimeters in length, they're known as fingerlings, still small, but already bearing the shape of mature salmon. At this stage, the process of saltwater acclimation begins. Salt is gradually added to the water, like a gentle reminder of the vast ocean that awaits them. As young salmon grow and begin to take on the distinct shape of a migratory fish, they are moved to brackish water areas near river mouths, a natural transitional environment where fresh water mixes with saltwater, helping them adapt more easily. Salmon are such voracious eaters that they almost never turn down a meal. Their daily diet consists of compact, nutrient-rich pellets, made from fish meal, fish oil, soy, and various minerals. Each pellet is packed with everything the fish need to grow quickly and develop that signature reddish-orange flesh. On average, each salmon pen consumes around 2 tons of feed per day. Notably, feed accounts for 50 to 70% of the total cost of salmon farming, making portion control a critical factor for every farm. Even a small miscalculation in daily feed allocation can result in financial discrepancies of tens of thousands of dollars each month. Unlike wild salmon harvesting, which depends on migration seasons and open sea fishing, farmed salmon can be harvested in a much more controlled and proactive manner. Once they reach the ideal weight, typically between 4 and 5 kilograms, the fish are guided into an automated grading system to check their size and health condition. Qualified individuals are then pumped directly onto harvesting boats or transferred to onshore processing facilities. The entire process follows a fixed schedule, ensuring a stable, year-round supply without relying on nature's timing. And now, let's step inside the processing plant, the moment we've all been waiting for, where thousands of fully grown salmon are turned into premium food products. Before being filleted, female salmon are carefully examined to harvest their eggs, a key ingredient used in the production of premium caviar. After being extracted from the fish, the roe is transferred to a specialized washing system to remove blood, membranes, and impurities. Ultra-fine spray nozzles gently clean off the outer mucus without damaging the delicate membrane of each egg. The salmon roe is then transferred to brining tanks, where a salt solution is gently stirred by soft paddles in a steady circular motion, allowing the salt to evenly penetrate each egg. Salinity, temperature, and timing are strictly controlled to firm up the eggs, bring out a beautiful amber hue, and preserve their naturally rich, briny flavor. Once brining is complete, the roe moves to the final inspection station, where bright white lighting helps technicians detect any broken, cloudy, or underperforming eggs. The final product, shimmering, salted pearls, is portioned into specialized tins by automated dosing machines, packed precisely in 200 or 500 grams. Then the tins are chilled and neatly stored, ready to deliver a taste of the ocean to dining tables around the world. And the journey still doesn't end there. Entering the filleting stage, the pinnacle of salmon processing, each fully grown fish is passed through a modern fillet machine. High-speed rotating blades simultaneously remove the backbone and split the fish into 2 symmetrical halves, all while preserving the freshness and integrity of each muscle fiber. For smoked salmon products, the skin is intentionally kept, acting as a natural shield for the meat in the steps that follow. Next, an automatic bone removal system takes over, using ultra-precise clamps to extract any remaining pin bones. The fillets are then scanned by optical sensors that assess color, freshness, and texture. Any pieces that don't meet the standards are instantly removed from the line. Yet few people realize that the vibrant orange color often seen isn't natural. Freshly caught salmon usually has pale pink or deep red flesh. To achieve that eye-catching hue, many factories use carbon monoxide gas, an industrial makeup that keeps the fish looking fresh long after processing. So the real question is, how can you tell if a piece of salmon is truly fresh and not just fresh-looking? At this stage, the salmon is ready to enter the smoking line, the final step where raw fish is transformed into one of the most refined delicacies ever crafted from the ocean. It all begins with salting, a process that may seem simple, yet plays a decisive role in shaping the final flavor. There are two common methods: dry curing, where fine salt is evenly sprinkled over the surface of the fish, allowing its natural moisture to draw the salt inward, and wet brining, where the fillets are soaked in a saltwater solution, typically containing 3 to 5% salt, depending on the desired curing time. Both techniques aim for the same result: to reduce moisture, enhance the natural saltiness, and build a flavorful foundation for smoke to cling to and penetrate deep into the flesh. Once ready, the fish is placed on trays or hung on metal racks inside the smokehouse. Oak, maple, or cherry wood is gently smoldered, releasing thin, warm streams of smoke that weave through each fillet, infusing it with the subtle aroma of both wood and thyme. Depending on the intended product, smoking can last anywhere from 4 hours for a lighter flavor to 24 hours for a richer, deeper profile. With smoked salmon, thyme is the secret seasoning, a slow and deliberate process where technique, ingredients, and human intuition blend together to create a dish that carries not just flavor, but traces of fire, smoke, and memory. When the smoking process comes to an end, the salmon has fully absorbed the essence of fire and wood, ready to enter its final stage: packaging. Each slice is placed into a vacuum sealing system, where all air is removed to preserve its moisture, texture, and the delicate smokiness that has gently permeated the flesh. From chilly processing facilities in the far north, smoked salmon begins its journey, traveling thousands of kilometers to reach dining tables in Tokyo, Paris, or New York. It's more than just food. It's a culinary voyage, carrying with it the essence of the sea, the warmth of wood smoke, and the craftsmanship of human hands. If Portugal is the sardine factory of the world, where shimmering silver shoals are harvested, processed, and exported to over 45 countries under renowned brands like Ramirez and Nuri, then the United States is the bottomless consumer machine, spending over $50 million annually to import sardines and integrate them into every corner of fast food culture, from convenient sandwich slices to refreshing, nutrient-packed salads. Compared to canned tuna, sardines are not only 30 to 50% cheaper, but they also offer a range of superior benefits. Higher omega-3 content, rich in calcium since the bones are edible, and a more ocean-friendly profile thanks to their sustainable harvesting practices. Sardines aren't just nutrient-rich, they once sparked an economic miracle in the heart of America. In 1903, as Monterey, California was drowning in a deep economic crisis, sardines arrived en masse like a wave of salvation. In a matter of years, this humble fish fueled a booming canning industry, created thousands of jobs, and transformed a fading seaside town into the sardine capital of the world. Every journey has its beginning. Join me as we set sail for the fishing grounds of the Atlantic Ocean, where the night sky bursts into light under powerful floodlamps, and specialized fleets kick off the sardine hunt, chasing a tiny fish that brings to life some of the most breathtaking dances beneath the sea. The sardine harvesting season stretches from late spring to early autumn, when coastal waters begin to warm and shimmering silver shoals gather in massive waves. Unlike tuna, which must be caught one by one on a line, or mackerel, which require traditional drift nets, sardines are harvested using a method as strange as it is spectacular: light trapping. At night, These specialized vessels switch on dozens of high-intensity lights, transforming the sea's surface into a stage lit by artificial suns. The glow triggers the sardines' predatory instincts, drawing them to the surface as if hypnotized. And by day, enormous purse seine nets lie in wait beneath the sun, ready to silently encircle the glistening silver shoals in an instant. No hooks, no chase, just perfect timing. Although sardines are small, they move in massive schools, sometimes weighing hundreds of tons, making their capture a task that requires advanced technology. On modern fishing vessels, radar and sonar systems are used to scan vast areas of ocean and accurately detect the movement of sardine schools swimming deep beneath the surface. Vessel into position, while the crew gets ready to deploy a purse seine net. The net is cast around the school of fish, then drawn tight at the bottom with a cable, like cinching the mouth of a bag, trapping the entire school in an instant. After being hauled aboard, the sardines are quickly transferred into large ice bins or deep freeze holds at -20°C to 25°C to preserve their freshness throughout the long journey at sea. As soon as the vessel docks, the catch is sent through a grading machine to separate the fish by size. They are then packed into sealed, insulated containers with ice inside. These containers are immediately transported to canning factories, ready for the next stage in a fully closed-loop processing system. Upon arrival at the factory, the sardines are transferred into large brine tanks. Workers carefully sprinkle coarse salt over each layer of fish to ensure even absorption. The sardines are left to soak in the brine for 2 to 6 hours, which helps firm up the flesh, enhance the flavor, and preserve the natural taste of the sea. After brining, the fish are poured into large holding containers, from which they are conveyed onto an automated conveyor belt to begin the cleaning process. As the belt moves forward, high-pressure water jets, delivering up to 50 liters per minute, spray cold water directly onto the fish. This powerful stream thoroughly washes away any excess salt, sand, or impurities clinging to the fish, ensuring they are perfectly clean and ready for the next steps. Once cleaned, the sardines enter an automated sorting system, a critical stage often referred to as the strategic routing station of the entire processing line. Here, rotating discs with diameters ranging from 5 to 10 centimeters act like giant sieves, sorting the fish by size. Smaller ones gently drop to the lower conveyor for secondary processing, while larger ones continue along the main line, destined to become premium canned products. With a throughput of up to 5 tons per hour, this system not only ensures fast and accurate sorting, but also guarantees that each finished can of sardines meets the highest standards of uniformity and quality. Once the sorting stage is complete, each sardine seems to have found its rightful place, gliding smoothly along the conveyor belt toward the pre-processing area. Unlike tuna or salmon, with their large bodies and thick flesh, sardines are smaller, more delicate, and prone to damage if mishandled. Their fine bones, thin skin, and high natural oil content make them particularly susceptible to spoilage and flavor loss if not processed properly. That's why pre-processing is not just a preparatory step. It is the critical dividing line between a perfect can of sardines and a failed product. In the pre-processing zone, workers wearing thin gloves swiftly remove the heads and guts of each fish while inspecting them visually and by smell. Spoiled sardines typically give off a slightly sour or sharply fishy odor. Thanks to their experience and sharp senses, each worker can handle over 1,000 sardines per hour, while maintaining the fish's intact appearance. After cleaning, the sardines are carefully arranged in stainless steel baskets, specially designed with small drainage holes to allow water to escape quickly without bruising the fish. Each sardine is placed neatly by hand to preserve its shape and freshness before moving on to the next stage. Once the baskets are full, an automated conveyor system carries them to the final rinsing area. Here, cold water sprays at high pressure form gentle streams that envelop each fish, washing away any remaining impurities while preserving their shiny skin and delicate structure. While manual pre-processing ensures precision and flexibility, in large-scale factories, technology takes the lead role. Automated cutting systems equipped with smart sensors can detect the size and position of each fish, trimming off unwanted parts in just seconds. As a result, these machines can process between 5,000 and 7,000 sardines per hour, significantly boosting overall production efficiency. After being thoroughly cleaned and neatly arranged, the gleaming sardines are placed into small tin cans on an automated conveyor belt by skilled workers. With swift and precise hands, they carefully position each fish to ensure uniform quantity and size in every can. Each worker can complete 30 to 40 cans per minute, maintaining a seamless and synchronized production line. In addition to manual canning, some modern factories are equipped with automated canning systems to increase productivity and ensure product consistency. These machines can place sardines into cans quickly and accurately, reducing processing time while maintaining quality. With the support of technology, the canning process becomes more efficient and ready for the next stages. To enhance flavor and create a distinctive touch for each product, workers add natural ingredients to every can. A few thin slices of carrot, a couple of bay leaves, or a hint of green peppercorns, all blending together to balance the rich taste of the fish with the fresh aroma of the spices. Once delicately garnished with these natural seasonings, each can is completed with the addition of water, an essential element to preserve flavor and texture during the cooking process. An automated filling machine gently pours 100 to 150 milliliters of filtered water into each can, ensuring the right moisture level for the upcoming steaming stage. Once the water and seasonings are properly balanced, the sardine cans enter the steaming stage, a crucial step that determines both quality and safety. Inside industrial steamers maintained at 230 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, the fish is fully sterilized, ensuring long-term preservation. As small, short-lived plankton feeders, sardines accumulate virtually no mercury. This allows the process to focus entirely on maximizing freshness and flavor, a rare advantage in the world of canned fish. As soon as the freshly steamed sardine cans come out of the oven, they are allowed to cool before continuing to the next stage. Once the temperature stabilizes, the cans pass through an automated oil filling system, where about 20 to 30 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil is poured into each can, evenly coating the fish to enhance flavor and ensure rich, natural taste. Thanks to their soft, edible bones after cooking, sardines are often packed whole to preserve their full flavor and appearance in the luscious layer of oil. However, for certain premium product lines, the bones are carefully removed after steaming to offer a smoother, more refined experience for the consumer. Finally, the sardine cans are transferred to an automated sealing system. Each lid is vacuum sealed, removing all air inside, helping to preserve the freshness and distinctive flavor of the fish over time. After sealing, the cans pass through a clean water bath at approximately 4 degrees Celsius, cold enough to wash off any remaining olive oil without affecting the can's integrity. This rinsing process lasts about 2 to 3 minutes. Once clean, workers gently dry each can with soft cloths to ensure they are spotless and oil-free. Next, the sardine cans enter a high-pressure steam sterilization chamber, where they are treated at temperatures up to 248 degrees Fahrenheit, around 120 degrees Celsius, for approximately 30 minutes. This step eliminates any remaining bacteria while preserving the fish's natural flavor. Finally, the cans move to the packaging line, where they are carefully packed into cardboard boxes, typically 24 cans per box depending on can size. Once packed, the boxes are transferred to a cold storage facility maintained at around 32 degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius, ensuring the sardines retain their freshness and flavor throughout storage. Leaving behind the cold steel lines and hurried rhythms of the factory, we enter a different world, the deep ocean, where sardines are no longer just a canned delicacy, but a vital link in a fierce dance of survival. Here, the water churns with relentless chases and waves surge with the dives of hungry predators. Though small, sardines set the tempo for the vast biological symphony unfolding offshore. Measuring just 15 to 20 centimeters in length, but forming schools of millions, sardines are the perfect prey of the sea. Rich in nutrients and easy to spot, they become targets for tuna, sharks, seabirds, seals, whales, and more. Their synchronized movements create massive live bait balls that draw predators from hundreds of kilometers away. For tireless hunters like sharks, sardines are among the most irresistible moving feasts the ocean has to offer. Before becoming food, mussels are the silent gatekeepers of marine ecosystems, helping purify the water and sustain life beneath the ocean's surface. Today, mussel farms stretch across Europe, South America, and Asia, with global production exceeding 1.8 million tons annually, supporting an industry valued at around $5 billion USD. Chile, China, and Spain currently lead the world in mussel farming, thanks to their ideal marine conditions and advanced aquaculture technologies. Compared to other seafood like shrimp or salmon, which often require industrial feed and generate high emissions, mussels stand out for their ultra-low carbon footprint, while still being rich in protein, omega-3s, and essential minerals. They've become a symbol of sustainable nutrition in an era where humanity seeks balance between health and the environment. Right now, let's head to pristine coastal waters to see how farmers harvest thousands of mussels each day, kicking off their remarkable journey from ocean to table. There are 4 main mussel species farmed worldwide, each adapted to different marine environments and cultivation methods. Among them, the European blue mussel and the New Zealand green-lipped mussel stand out for their high meat quality and significant commercial value. In Chile, China, Spain, New Zealand, and other regions with deep, clean waters, the long line, suspended rope method is the most commonly used. It offers low costs, scalability, and high efficiency. Depending on the farming region, mussels are typically harvested from late winter to mid-summer when they reach optimal size and nutrient content. The harvesting process begins by lifting the mussel ropes out of the water using hydraulic cranes or specialized pulley systems. Each rope can reach 15 to 20 meters in length, weigh hundreds of kilograms, and be covered with thousands of mussels clumped together in large, dark clusters, along with seaweed and other marine organisms. So how do farmers separate thousands of mussels from these thick, anchor-like ropes? Traditionally, mussels were removed by hand. Farmers used scrapers, wire brushes, or metal combs to gently rake along the ropes, dislodging the mussels into collection trays or tanks. While simple, this method is time-consuming, labor-intensive, and can damage the mussels if not done carefully. Moreover, freshly harvested mussels are often covered in mud, dead barnacles, seaweed, and other biofouling organisms, so a pre-wash system is typically installed on board to rinse off the debris and ease the burden on processing plants. In modern mussel farms, this manual process has been replaced by automated onboard mussel stripping machines. These systems use rotating drums, metal rods, or stiff brushes, combined with high-pressure seawater jets, to gently shake and scrub the mussels off the ropes. The mussels are then filtered and collected in storage bins. This automation allows for faster, cleaner harvesting and significantly reduces mechanical damage compared to manual handling. Immediately after detachment, the mussels are sent through a seawater rinse conveyor to remove remaining sand, mud, and fouling organisms. Some vessels are even equipped with aeration units or coarse filters to further enhance hygiene before storage. Meanwhile, in parts of Europe, especially coastal regions of France, the Netherlands, and Belgium, mussels are farmed using the bouchot method, where they naturally attach themselves to vertical wooden poles fixed into the seabed. When the tide rises, the mussels are submerged in water to feed and grow. When the tide recedes, parts of the poles become exposed, allowing farmers to observe the mussels and time the harvest more precisely. Unlike suspended rope systems, the bouchot method doesn't allow for harvesting with pulleys or rotary strippers. Instead, farmers use specialized harvesting boats equipped with hydraulic cranes and custom mussel scraping buckets. These buckets are lowered close to the poles and operate like automated brushes, dislodging mussels from the wood surface while simultaneously washing away mud and debris with integrated water jets. Once dislodged, the mussels are suctioned into a collection chamber and transferred into the boat's storage hold. This approach speeds up the harvesting process, reduces manual labor, and minimizes the risk of breaking the poles or damaging the mussels, which can happen with traditional hand harvesting methods. After each harvest, mussel farms require thorough cleaning and maintenance to prepare for the next cycle. The horizontal ropes stretched between poles, typically used to stabilize young mussels during early attachment, are removed, cleaned, or replaced if damaged. At the same time, the wooden bouchot poles are carefully inspected and cleaned to remove barnacles, seaweed, and other fouling organisms, ensuring a clean surface for the next generation of mussels to attach. In some regions, farmers also rotate or replace older poles to maintain structural integrity and reduce the risk of breakage or rot caused by prolonged exposure to salt water. All of this maintenance work must be carried out during low tide, requiring technical skill, physical effort, and seamless coordination between human labor and machinery. Once harvested, fresh mussels are transported to the processing plant in insulated containers and temporarily stored in aerated, artificial seawater tanks. This system keeps the mussels alive and healthy while allowing them to expel sand and grit before processing. As a result, the raw materials remain fresh and ready for the production line at any time. To begin processing, the mussels are poured into a feeding hopper and enter a fully automated closed-loop cleaning system. This integrated line includes pre-washing, beard removal, and drying, ensuring each mussel is thoroughly cleaned before further processing. First, the mussels slide into a pre-washed trough, where high-powered water jets remove dirt, seaweed, and coarse debris. Some facilities use rotating drum washers equipped with stiff-bristled brushes, which tumble the mussels continuously in a spinning chamber while brushing them from multiple angles. Next, the mussels are directed into the central processing chamber, where rotating brush systems scrub the shells and pull off the byssal threads, beards. Throughout the process, low-pressure water sprays maintain moisture and immediately rinse away loosened debris. Finally, the mussels are transferred to a round bar vibrating conveyor, which gently shakes off excess water and dries the product. The vibration also helps separate mussels stuck together or those with residual beards. Thanks to the synchronized action of water, brushes, and mechanical motion, this automated system can clean several tons of mussels per hour, significantly reducing labor costs and processing time, while ensuring consistent quality across every batch of raw material. A conveyor belt with workers stationed alongside awaits just after the cleaning process is completed. Here, the mussels are carefully inspected by hand, with broken shells, dead specimens, mussels with residual debris, or those not fully debearded being manually removed. Although most of the process is automated, It is the eyes and experience of human workers that serve as the final layer of quality control, ensuring that only the best mussels continue to the next processing stages. The conveyor then carries the selected mussels to the packaging area. At the end of the line, mussels slide into a sorting funnel, where the product flow is evenly distributed into mesh bags or specialized sacks below. An automatic weighing system precisely controls the contents of each bag, typically between 1 and 2 kilograms, before the bags are securely sealed using plastic rings or specialized ties. In addition to mesh bags, plastic tray packaging is another preferred option for premium retail markets and restaurants where visual presentation matters. In the tray packing area, mussels are evenly arranged into pre-formed plastic trays in fixed quantities. The trays are then sealed with clear shrink film by an automated machine to ensure hygiene and preserve moisture. Finally, each tray is labeled with complete product information before being sent to chilling and boxing stations. A popular product line in mussel processing is frozen half-shell cooked mussels, commonly supplied to supermarkets and high-end restaurants. After thorough cleaning, the mussels are steam-cooked at low pressure at 95 to 100 degrees Celsius, allowing the meat to be gently pre-cooked and loosened from the shell without damaging its structure. Once steamed, the mussels move along a cooling conveyor, where workers inspect and remove any defective ones. Next, one half of the shell is removed using specialized knives, creating the visually appealing and convenient half-shell mussel product. This step requires skilled hands to preserve the shape and keep the meat firmly attached to the remaining shell. Following this, the mussels are placed into aerated cold water tanks to rinse off shell fragments, quickly lower the temperature, and firm up the meat texture. They are then evenly spread onto a blast freezer conveyor set at -35 degrees Celsius, ensuring each mussel is individually frozen, locking in color, texture, and extending shelf life up to 18 months. Finally, the frozen mussels are automatically portioned into 250 grams to 1 kilogram flexible plastic bags, sealed, packed into labeled cartons, and stored at -18 degrees Celsius. The finished product is ready for distribution to supermarkets, restaurants, and global export markets. Have you ever wondered how humans are able to produce thousands of tons of black pearls of the ocean from such tiny creatures? The journey of mussel farming begins at coastal hatcheries or laboratories, where young mussels, known as spat, are cultivated from wild collected larvae or through controlled artificial spawning. By adjusting water temperature, salinity, or light, technicians stimulate mature mussels to reproduce. Once eggs and sperm are released, fertilization takes place in incubation tanks, and within 24 hours, they develop into trochophore larvae. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, the larvae continue to grow while feeding on microalgae in nutrient-rich seawater. Upon reaching the petavillager stage, they begin searching for surfaces to attach to and secrete byssus threads, strong biological fibers that allow them to anchor tightly onto ropes, wooden slats, or mesh substrates in the tanks. With the bouchotte method, a traditional mussel farming technique practiced in France and parts of Europe, the preparation of the farming area plays a crucial role. Farmers must select wide tidal flats with flat seabeds, firm ground free of silt, and regular tidal movements. During the low water season, thousands of wooden poles, each 3 to 5 meters long, are driven vertically into the seabed in neat, straight rows, forming biological walls ready to receive mussel spat. Ropes or mesh are often strung horizontally between the poles to increase the surface area for attachment and prevent mussels from being dislodged by waves. Mussel-laden ropes, already seeded with juvenile mussels, are then wrapped in a spiral around each pole and securely fastened, ensuring stable growth when the tide rises and submerges the farm. This entire process requires not only mechanical support, but also the farmer's experience in timing the tides, determining water depth, wind direction, and spacing of the poles. If placed too densely, the flow of water is restricted, too sparsely, and productivity drops. Once everything is in place, the mussels begin their growth journey in natural seawater, feeding on plankton and gradually forming dense clusters tightly attached to the wooden posts. You might not know this, but in the wild, porcupines are among the few small animals capable of making top predators. Like leopards or lions, think twice. Armed with a natural armor of needle-sharp quills, they make any would-be attacker pay a painful price. Each quill is a living weapon, hollow, lightweight, yet sharp like a miniature spear. Tiny barbs along its shaft make it easy to penetrate flesh, but extremely hard to pull out. When threatened, a porcupine doesn't run. It raises its quills, turns its back, and strikes in reverse, driving the spines deep into the predator's skin. Conservation groups have even documented leopards and lions with quills stuck in their faces, legs, and bellies, some eventually dying from infections caused by what seemed like minor wounds. Today, humans have domesticated this prickly creature, transforming it from a walking fortress into a high-value food source. Vietnam currently leads the world in commercial porcupine farming, producing around 70% of global supply, followed by China, where demand is high in both culinary and traditional medicine sectors. Compared to traditional livestock, porcupine farming stands out for its low costs, low disease risk, easily sourced feed, and impressive adaptability to various climates. Right now, join us as we explore the world of porcupine farms, where humans are turning nature's sharpest defenses into a promising economic opportunity. To begin this journey, building a proper farming system is the essential first step. Porcupines have distinct behavioral traits. They are solitary or live in pairs, prefer quiet environments with low lighting, and are easily stressed by changes in their surroundings. During the day, they tend to stay hidden and only emerge to forage at night. Notably, their powerful digging ability allows them to escape easily if enclosures are not properly designed. That's why housing must be sturdy and tailored to their natural habits. Each porcupine requires about 2 to 3 square meters of space, with walls at least 80 centimeters high. The floor should be made of concrete or tiles with a steel mesh underneath to prevent burrowing. The area should be well ventilated, protected from rain and sun, kept at a stable temperature between 22 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius, and shielded from strong light or loud noise. A well-designed enclosure not only ensures healthy growth but also improves reproductive performance, reduces disease risks, and maximizes product value. This forms the foundation for success in modern porcupine farming. Once housing is no longer an issue, the next key factor determining the success of this farming model is the selection of breeding stock. Breeding porcupines must be healthy, purebred, disease-free, and physically balanced, with evenly grown, glossy quills and no patchy hair loss. The selection process begins with determining the sex of the porcupines, a task that requires experience, as males and females look very similar, especially when young. Farmers gently flip the porcupine over and inspect its genital area to identify its gender, then mark it with paint for easier management during care. A healthy breeding pair can reproduce steadily for 6 to 7 years, providing a stable source of offspring with a high survival rate. In addition to selling porcupines for meat, many farms also profit from selling breeding stock, priced from $80 to $160 per animal, making it a promising additional income stream in today's porcupine farming industry. After selecting a healthy breeding pair, the male and female porcupines are placed in the same enclosure to begin the mating process. But here's a question you might not expect. How does a porcupine manage to mate with a back covered in sharp quills? That's where things get interesting. When the female is ready to mate, she flattens her quills, revealing a smooth area just below the tail. This allows the male to approach without injury. Before mating, the male gently taps the female's back with his front paws, a calming gesture that signals his intentions and ensures everything proceeds with full cooperation. The female porcupine remains pregnant for about 100 to 110 days, a relatively long period for rodents, as the babies are born nearly fully developed, equipped with soft quills and basic mobility. Each litter can contain up to 3 porcupets, but the mother is only capable of raising 1 or 2 effectively. When there are too many, the young may fight over milk, leading to injuries or weakness. To avoid this, caretakers often step in and leave just 1 or 2 babies with each mother. The remaining ones are transferred to other females with fewer offspring, ensuring that every porcupet receives proper care and nutrition. During the first few months of life, baby porcupines rely entirely on their mother's milk for growth. This is a critical stage that determines their immunity and overall development rate. Throughout this nursing period, the mother and her young are kept together in the same enclosure. Farmers must monitor them closely to ensure the babies are feeding properly, not being pushed aside, and have safe access to the mother's milk. The living space must be kept dry, clean, and draft-free to minimize the risk of illness. At around 2 months of age, the young begin developing hardened teeth and gradually transition to solid food. This is also the ideal time to wean them, moving them into a separate enclosure to begin the next phase of growth in the commercial farming cycle. After being weaned, young porcupines are moved to separate enclosures for continued care. At this stage, their diet shifts completely from mother's milk to solid food. Porcupines are easy to raise and not picky eaters. They can consume a wide variety of plant-based foods, ranging from potatoes, cassava, pumpkins, and corn. In captivity, they can even eat leftover rice, bread, or food scraps. Thanks to this omnivorous nature, feeding porcupines is both simple and cost-effective. Farmers can make full use of agricultural byproducts and leftover food, reducing production costs while still ensuring healthy growth and timely weight gain for market. Notably, porcupines only need to be fed once a day, at night, when they're most active. This feeding routine aligns with their natural habits and helps farmers save considerable time and effort in daily care. Although porcupines are not picky eaters, they have relatively high standards when it comes to their living environment. A well-built, airy, and quiet enclosure is still not enough. The most critical factor is cleanliness. Porcupines are highly sensitive to dirty surroundings. If their enclosures are damp or accumulate waste and leftover food over time, they are prone to digestive issues, skin fungi, or external parasites. To prevent this, farmers must clean the enclosures daily, hosing down the floors and thoroughly removing all waste. In addition, porcupines are bathed regularly with clean water. This not only keeps them hygienic and reduces the risk of bacterial growth, but also helps cool their bodies, providing relaxation and reducing stress. On hot days, porcupines are often given short water soaks to help regulate body temperature, especially those with thick fur or undergoing molting. These practices are essential for maintaining their health and ensuring they stay in optimal condition throughout the commercial farming process. After at least 8 to 10 months of care, once a porcupine reaches a weight of 7 to 12 kilograms, it is ready for harvesting and sale. Commercial porcupines are typically sold to specialty restaurants, premium food processing facilities, or exported to markets with legal demand for farm-raised wildlife. Capturing porcupines requires skill and experience, as improper handling can lead to injuries for both the animal and the handler. Naturally, no one wants to approach a porcupine barehanded when its hundreds of sharp quills are raised in defense. At this stage, specialized metal or plastic cages become essential tools. Farmers gently place the cage into the enclosure, positioning the opening toward the porcupine. By carefully guiding the animal toward a corner, they leave it with no option but to walk into the cage on its own. Once secured inside, the porcupine is weighed and then placed into a transport sack before being delivered to restaurants or processing facilities. The porcupine processing begins with basic preliminary steps, similar to handling poultry such as chickens or ducks. First, all sharp quills are removed and the skin is thoroughly cleaned. The clean white carcass is then fire-seared to eliminate odors and firm up the meat. This step is essential to preserve the meat's natural sweetness, prevent any gaminess, and retain an appealing color during cooking. Next, the carcass is chopped into smaller pieces, ready to be used in a variety of dishes. In Vietnam, where porcupine meat is increasingly considered a delicacy, it is prepared in a wide range of styles, from rustic to elaborate. One of the most popular dishes is porcupine grilled with chili and salt, where the meat is richly marinated and grilled over charcoal until the exterior becomes firm and aromatic. So what does porcupine meat taste like? It offers a surprisingly unique experience from the very first bite. The ivory white meat is softer than wild chicken, yet has a rich sweetness, a slight fattiness, and a pleasantly chewy texture. When grilled, the skin crisps up on the outside while remaining juicy and tender inside, fully infused with the marinade. Compared to pork, porcupine meat is leaner, less greasy, and leaves a clean, light aftertaste. That's exactly why adventurous food lovers are willing to pay a premium for this rare and distinctive meat, even if it's not always easy to find. In nature, locusts are insects capable of causing severe agricultural disasters. When the weather is favorable, small swarms gather into massive clouds that darken the sky and destroy crops within hours, leaving farmers devastated. This phenomenon causes global agricultural losses of up to $8.5 billion annually, threatening food security and significantly impacting the economies of many countries worldwide. Yet the paradox is that this very pest is now considered a protein source of the future. Locusts contain 60–70% pure protein, twice that of beef, while being rich in minerals, low in fat, easy to digest, and environmentally friendly. In China, the locust farming industry is rapidly growing, with an estimated annual production of around 5,000 to 8,000 tons, serving both domestic and export markets and generating tens of millions of dollars in revenue. In Africa, locusts are called gold falling from the sky. Locals harvest them naturally at almost no cost, yet still create significant income. And without further delay, join me now to explore the modern locust farming process and how humans have transformed a destructive pest into a new food source for the future. Every journey begins with infrastructure. To raise locusts effectively, farmers must create a natural-like environment that is orderly, clean, and fully controlled. Modern locust farms are typically built in well-ventilated areas with abundant natural light, but protected from rain and wind by hundreds of neatly arranged mosquito-proof mesh cages. Each rearing unit has a base layer of fine sand or sawdust to absorb moisture and provide ideal conditions for locusts to lay eggs. The temperature inside the cages is maintained steadily between 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, with humidity kept at 60 to 70%, recreating a summer-like environment in a closed space to maximize locust growth and reproduction. And of course, maintaining healthy breeding stock is an essential step, a process that requires meticulous preparation and strict control. During the breeding season, the locust farm becomes so lively that farmers call it the biological explosion phase. Locusts mate by stacking on the backs of females, with each mating lasting from 4 to 10 hours, one of the longest mating durations among insects. The male uses small spines on its legs to firmly hold the female, ensuring successful sperm transfer. After fertilization, the female enters a prolonged egg-laying phase lasting several days. During the breeding season, farmers place specialized egg-laying trays, shallow plastic boxes filled with a 3 to 5 centimeters thick layer of fine sand, maintained at about 70% moisture. Female locusts use a needle-like ovipositor to pierce deep into the sand and deposit eggs in batches. Each individual can lay from 20 to over 100 eggs at a time, and this process repeats multiple times throughout the breeding cycle. The number of eggs laid can be so large that after just one night, the sand surface may be completely covered, with eggs arranged in layers resembling tiny grains of rice. To prevent overcrowding that could cause oxygen deficiency or embryo damage, farmers need to regularly replace the trays, ensuring each batch of eggs is collected at the right time. Immediately after the female locust completes the egg-laying process, farmers carefully begin collecting the egg trays. With meticulous handling, they sift through the sand layer, gently extracting egg clusters concentrated in the densest areas. Locust eggs are very small, elongated oval-shaped, and ivory-colored. They are usually coated in a layer of mucus secreted by the female during laying. This mucus helps bind the eggs into clusters and forms an initial protective membrane, but it also causes the eggs to blend into the sand, requiring skilled handling to avoid breaking or damaging the delicate embryos inside. Once separated, the eggs are transferred to specialized incubation trays containing a sterilized mixture of fine sand and sawdust or coconut fiber. The mixing ratio is precisely adjusted to maintain optimal moisture levels, avoiding excessive wetness that could cause oxygen deficiency, while ensuring good airflow around the eggs. The incubation trays are then placed in a separate hatching area with minimal light. Temperature is kept stable between 30 to 32 degrees Celsius, and humidity is maintained at approximately 70%. After 10 to 15 days, the young locusts begin to break through the eggshells and emerge from the sand, as if experiencing a new season of life. Newly hatched locusts resemble adults in shape but lack wings. At this stage, they are extremely fragile and sensitive to environmental changes, requiring meticulous care to ensure the highest survival rate. In their early life stage, young locusts are fed soft, nutrient-rich, and easily digestible young leaves to help their bodies recover quickly after each molt. As they grow, their diet shifts to fresh leaves such as corn, papaya, elephant grass, or sweet potato leaves. All feed materials are carefully chopped into bite-sized pieces completely free of pesticides and always kept fresh. Even a small piece of wilted or moldy leaf can cause disease outbreaks that spread rapidly in the confined farming environment. Stocking density is also critical, typically maintained at 500 to 1,000 locusts per square meter. Overcrowding causes stress, leading locusts to bite each other or suffer mass mortality. Daily cleaning is mandatory, removing dead individuals, cleaning feces, replacing moisture-absorbing bedding, and draining stagnant water to prevent mold growth. Neglecting these tasks can result in the loss of hundreds of locusts within hours. Like many other insects, locusts develop through molting. During the first 25 to 30 days of life, they undergo 5 to 6 molts before reaching adulthood. Each molting stage is extremely sensitive. Before molting, farmers carefully adjust the humidity in the rearing area. Instead of direct watering, farms typically use light misting systems or place damp cloths in corners to maintain ideal moisture levels. If the environment is too dry, old exoskeletons won't shed completely. If too moist, mold outbreaks occur. Throughout molting, locust bodies become soft, nearly transparent, and highly vulnerable to injury from collisions or even competition among peers. Therefore, it is strictly prohibited to move or disturb the rearing area during this period. After the final molts, locusts reach adult form, elongated and muscular bodies with thin wings folded neatly along their sides. Their color changes from deep green to earthy brown, depending on the rearing environment and strain. As locusts enter the adult stage, their nutritional needs increase dramatically. While they fed slowly as nymphs, their food consumption rate now becomes extremely rapid. A group of several hundred locusts can consume an entire tray of greens within just a few hours. The average weight of an adult locust ranges from 250 to 350 milligrams, but high-yield strains can reach up to 400 milligrams. Each individual requires about 0.8 to 1.2 grams of feed daily. On average, a tray housing 500 locusts needs approximately 3 kilograms of leafy greens per day to ensure sufficient nutrition for the harvesting stage. Besides food, locusts need clean water to maintain vital functions. On farms, drinking water is usually provided through trays or light misting systems, helping to maintain humidity and aid digestion. Clean, uncontaminated water is essential to prevent diseases and boost immunity. Providing adequate water helps locusts grow healthily and achieve high productivity. Every 3-4 days, farmers randomly weigh samples to monitor growth rates. This process helps adjust feeding portions timely, ensuring uniform development and minimizing size differences within the colony. After about 30 to 35 days, adult locusts reach marketable size and are ready for harvest. This stage is highly manual, requiring skill and precision comparable to any sophisticated agricultural technique. Unlike other insects that can be harvested by machinery, locusts are caught entirely by hand to preserve their shape and ensure quality. Harvesters gently open nets or cage lids and carefully approach the locusts clinging to trays or the floor. Every movement must be precise and smooth. Too fast causes panic, too slow reduces productivity. After catching, locusts are placed into soft mesh bags to keep them ventilated and prevent crushing or deformation. On average, a skilled harvester can collect 10 to 15 kilograms per hour. The combination of speed and gentleness has turned this task into an art form. The ultimate goal is to keep each locust intact for the next step, whether packaging live or sending them to processing plants. After the harvesting and transportation process is complete, the live locust trays are immediately sent for thorough cleaning, a process far more sophisticated than simply washing with water. The locusts are placed into automatic vibrating tanks that combine circulating water, gentle ultrasonic waves, and tilted stainless steel drums. This system removes sand, soil, leaves, droppings, and natural oils from the locusts' bodies without breaking their legs or tearing their wings. After cleaning, the locusts move onto mesh conveyor belts for drying using low-pressure cold air. This method dries them without causing thermal shock, preserving their freshness and original texture. Once clean and dry, the locusts are taken to the packaging area. Here, they are sorted according to their intended use: live consumption or processing. Live locusts are packed in modified atmosphere bags to maintain freshness. Each package is clearly labeled with harvest date, origin, nutritional information, and storage instructions. And the most exciting part is the processing stage. The locusts are briefly blanched in boiling water to remove impurities, then gently dried and seasoned with sea salt and traditional herbs. Next, they are deep fried in hot oil until they turn a golden crispy color that's simply irresistible. After frying, the locusts are drained of oil, then a few drops of fresh lime juice are added along with a sprinkle of chili powder, creating a perfect blend of sour, spicy, and the distinctive umami aftertaste. The result is a unique snack, crunchy, flavorful, and highly nutritious, ideal for enjoying with a cold drink or as an adventurous appetizer. Would you dare to try this tiny but surprising delicacy? What intrigues you more, the crisp crunch, the spicy kick, or its nutrition, considered the future of cuisine? China is known as the Kingdom of Frog Fields, producing over 1.6 million tons of frog meat each year, accounting for a staggering 70% of the global supply. From riverside swamps to industrial frog farms, these small creatures not only help control pests and maintain ecological balance, but also provide a livelihood for millions of people. In the animal kingdom, few species can rival the frog's leaps and lightning-fast strikes. A small frog can jump up to 20 times its body length. Imagine a person leaping over an entire bus with a single push. When prey comes into range, the frog's jelly-like tongue snaps out faster than the blink of an eye, coating its target in ultra-sticky mucus and turning it into a prisoner of nature. Here's a fun fact. Kissing a frog won't help you find a prince, but it might land you in the hospital. Some species secrete mild toxins through their skin that can cause numbness or nausea upon contact. So instead of chasing fairy tales, perhaps enjoying a delicious, safely prepared frog dish is the more pleasant option. Thanks to their ability to adapt to various environments, frog farming has become an excellent option for those dreaming of building wealth from the countryside. From rice paddies to vast open fields. The value brought by these so-called swamp princes goes far beyond their small size and slippery skin. To boost productivity and maintain a healthy gene pool, farms have adopted strict and scientific breeding selection processes. Selected breeding frogs must have well-proportioned bodies, no deformities, quick reflexes, and most importantly, meet the standard weight range, typically between 200 to 300 grams per specimen. Male frogs are generally smaller, but more muscular, agile, and resistant to disease, while females are larger with swollen bellies full of eggs, making them ideal for reproduction. Frogs don't mate simply because a male and female are present. Reproduction for these amphibians is a complex ritual, triggered only when environmental conditions are just right, as if someone flips a biological switch. That's why farms must replicate natural habitats, water kept at 26 to 30 degrees Celsius, neutral pH, soft lighting, and absolute silence. Even a single loud noise can stop them from breeding. Some farms even install artificial rain systems to simulate the first rains of the season, a powerful signal that tells frogs it's time to begin their mating ritual. Unlike many other animals, frogs reproduce through external fertilization, meaning the entire process takes place in water. The male quickly climbs onto the female's back and clasps her tightly with his forelimbs, a unique behavior known as amplexus. This position can last from several hours to more than a day, depending on the species and conditions. During this time, the female gently releases eggs in gelatinous strings that float in the water, while the male simultaneously releases sperm to fertilize them. A healthy female can lay between 1,000 and 6,000 eggs in a single breeding season. Within just 3 to 7 days, those transparent egg masses hatch into tadpoles, a tiny beginning to the next stage of the frog's life cycle. At first glance, a tadpole looks like nothing more than a living comma. A tiny, soft creature, gliding through the water with a thread-like tail. But behind that simple appearance lies one of the most revolutionary transformations in the vertebrate world. In the first days after hatching, tadpoles don't rush to feed. Instead, they survive on their yolk sac, a built-in emergency reserve of nutrients prepared by nature during the embryonic stage. This allows them to get through the most vulnerable period of their lives. The tadpole stage is a harsh survival trial. A strong current or even a rough touch can damage their paper-thin skin. But as the yolk sac depletes after 2 to 3 days, tadpoles begin an astonishing metamorphosis. They grow hind legs, then front legs. Their mouths widen, and their digestive systems shift from herbivorous algae eaters to carnivorous predators. Their respiratory system transforms too. Gills give way to lungs, preparing them for life on land. Even the heart restructures itself, evolving from 2 chambers to 3. A rare and remarkable biological leap. When the tail is finally absorbed, the once swimming creature is ready to leap ashore, officially becoming a young frog, setting out on a brand new journey with a completely different lifestyle and instincts. Even with fully formed legs and lungs, young frogs remain extremely fragile. They must learn to breathe with their lungs, much like infants, slowly, gradually, while still absorbing oxygen through the thin skin on their bellies. To minimize stress, they are raised in shallow tanks where gentle water flow helps train their reflexes for hunting. Their diet is specially designed, including small worms, live insects, and protein-rich groundfish. Because overcrowding can lead to cannibalism, sorting them by growth rate is essential. Even lighting is carefully controlled. Without sufficient UVB exposure, their skin may lose color or become deformed. Pond water is changed frequently to prevent the frogs from poisoning themselves with waste buildup. Every detail is meticulously managed to prepare them for the next critical phase. Only the strongest individuals are selected to continue growing. Once frogs reach a weight of 200 to 250 grams, they enter the final fattening stage, a critical preparation phase before being sold to market. At this point, not only do they gain significant body mass, but their immune systems are also strengthened to withstand the stress of commercial harvesting. Farmers typically move the frogs to large ponds or concrete tanks with flat bottoms and appropriate depth to maintain stable temperatures and allow better environmental control. Independent water inlet and drainage systems are used, along with mesh roofs to keep out predatory birds. Floating platforms are also provided, so frogs can rest out of the water, reducing stress and lowering the risk of disease. Stocking density is kept at 30 to 50 frogs per square meter to prevent overcrowding and minimize the spread of illness. During this stage, frogs are fed regularly during cooler hours, from early morning to late afternoon, with a varied diet that includes floating and sinking feeds, live insects, and ground fish. Some farms even increase the protein content in the feed to maximize muscle growth and meat quality. After 2 to 3 months of careful management, when the frogs reach 250 to 350 grams, they are ready for harvest, offering high economic value and superior meat quality. The sweet reward of months of meticulous care comes when the frogs reach their ideal weight, ready for the harvesting stage. Typically, harvesting is carried out early in the morning or late in the afternoon, when ambient temperatures are lower, helping reduce frog activity and minimize the risk of injury from excessive jumping. Choosing the right time is not only crucial for maintaining the frog's physical condition, but is also a key factor in ensuring meat quality throughout the entire food value chain. Today, instead of manually catching each frog like in the past, many farms have adopted modern harvesting methods using soft net systems. Fine nylon mesh strips are installed along the edges of ponds or inside rearing tanks, forming narrow passageways with an opening at the end. Farmers simply lower the water level slightly or create small sound cues, taking advantage of the frog's natural instinct to seek shelter. This prompts them to move on their own into designated trap areas or collection tanks. This method allows for quick, continuous, and large-scale harvesting, while reducing stress on the animals and preventing skin abrasions from physical handling. As a result, meat quality is preserved from the very first stage of harvest, while also optimizing labor efficiency for commercial frog farms. The healthy and robust frogs are transported alive in specialized vehicles to the processing plant, ensuring they remain in excellent condition to preserve their natural flavor and nutritional value to the fullest. Here, under the skilled hands of a well-trained workforce and with the support of a semi-automated production line, the processing plant can handle between 500 and 2,000 frogs per hour. The frogs are placed on a conveyor system, where they are washed with cold water to remove mud and surface bacteria. Next, each frog undergoes deep chilling, either by spreading crushed ice over the body or immersing it in a large ice water tank maintained at a controlled temperature of 0 to 2 degrees Celsius. This step stabilizes muscle structure and preserves the meat's firmness and freshness before moving on to further processing. Once the muscle tissue has been properly chilled, the frogs are transferred to a separate preparation area, equipped with stainless steel tables that meet EXIPA hygiene standards. There, an experienced team makes quick, precise cuts to divide each frog into various parts: legs, body, skin, and internal organs, to meet diverse demands for high-end frog products. Immediately after separation, all parts are passed through a closed-loop cold water washing system with a flow rate of 5,000 liters per hour, ensuring the complete removal of blood, fluids, and waste. This stage not only enhances the purity of the product, but also naturally extends its shelf life without the need for preservatives, meeting the strictest quality standards of international markets. Once thoroughly cleaned, the frog meat parts are transferred to the blast freezing area. Here, they are rapidly frozen at temperatures between -35°C and -40°C, allowing water molecules within the cells to crystallize instantly without damaging muscle structure. Next, the frog meat moves to the automated packaging area. Depending on market demand, products can be packed in various formats: whole legs, separated legs, or marinated fillet trays. Vacuum sealing or modified atmosphere packaging (AP) technology is used to prevent oxygen and microorganisms from compromising product quality. Under the skilled hands of a chef, fresh frog meat unlocks a mesmerizing culinary journey. Carefully cleaned and seasoned with select spices, it becomes the soul of many flavorful dishes, from steaming hot broth infused with lotus leaves, to crispy fried frog legs dipped in spicy garlic sauce, to stir-fried frog with lemongrass and chili, hearty frog stew with green bananas and tofu, or the iconic Singaporean frog porridge. Especially captivating is the moment when frog meat is dipped into a bubbling hot pot, instantly contracting as if startled by the heat. This fascinating reaction, caused by the rapid tightening of proteins and collagen, transforms the texture. Firm yet tender, slightly chewy, yet irresistibly sweet. A sudden contraction that marks the beginning of an enchanting dining experience. Thanks to strict processing standards, frog meat retains its natural sweetness and has become a prized ingredient in modern cuisine, where every dish reflects passion, artistry, and dedication. In Japan, pufferfish preparation is a highly regulated field, and only those holding a fugu license, a nationally certified qualification specifically for handling pufferfish, are permitted to perform it. To obtain this license, chefs must undergo years of training and pass an extremely rigorous examination that includes practical tests on filleting techniques, identifying toxic organs, and ensuring safe handling. Before entering the delicate preparation stage, where a single wrong cut could be fatal, many Japanese chefs follow a ritual that may sound unusual, feeding the pufferfish carrots and chili peppers. Carrots serve not just as food, but as a key cleanser for the fish's digestive system, helping to flush out impurities from the intestines and minimize risks during dissection. Chili peppers act as a natural anesthetic, calming the fish and preventing it from puffing up, a reflex that could turn the entire process into a disaster. And now, let's explore the pufferfish preparation process, a deadly delicacy sought after worldwide, where approximately 70% of its body contains toxins carefully controlled to turn a lethal threat into a perfectly safe gourmet dish. The process begins with a gentle incision on the fish's head, a crucial step that helps to paralyze the fish, reduce stress, and prevent it from inflating suddenly during handling. The craftsman continues by carefully removing all the sharp fins. However, instead of being discarded, these fins are often preserved to be used as decorative elements or incorporated into traditional Japanese dishes like tsukudani, a savory, flavorful dish served with rice, making full use of every part of this unique fish. Immediately after, the mouth is carefully removed because the fish's salivary glands also contain toxins. This step also reduces the risk of injury during processing and prevents the fish from biting, ensuring the safety of the handler. Next, the craftsman skillfully removes the fish's skin with swift and precise movements to preserve the meat underneath. Since the skin also contains potent toxins, careful removal is essential to ensure absolute safety. A seemingly simple fish, yet hidden inside are 4 deadly toxin-containing areas: the liver, ovaries, intestines, and skin. Even a small piece of these organs contaminating the meat can turn the dish into poison. Therefore, the pufferfish preparation process is carried out almost like microsurgery, where every cut must be absolutely precise. Importantly, pufferfish internal organs are not discarded as ordinary waste. They must be collected, sealed as high-level hazardous material, and disposed of according to strict procedures. Every year, Shimonoseki processes over 3,000 tons of pufferfish, generating hundreds of millions of dollars for the luxury food industry. This is not just a dish, it represents the delicate boundary between culinary excellence and life-threatening risk. Behind each paper-thin slice of sashimi, nearly translucent, lies a complex chain of steps where mistakes are almost impossible to afford. Pufferfish meat doesn't explode on the palate like Wagyu beef or offer the rich fattiness of salmon. Instead, it carries a different kind of delicacy, chewy, crisp, and refreshingly light, leaving a cool, clean finish on the tongue, as if you're tasting a slice of the ocean freshly cut at dawn. In high-end fugu restaurants in Japan, sashimi is often arranged in the shape of a chrysanthemum, a symbol of purity and a subtle reminder of the thin line between life and death. The slices are so thin they're almost transparent, shimmering on the plate like petals kissed by morning dew. Eating a piece of pufferfish sashimi isn't just a taste experience. It's a testament to the chef's absolute precision, because one misplaced cut could turn the meal into a matter of fate. Beyond sashimi, pufferfish is prepared in various distinctive ways. In Korea, the meat is transformed into fiery, spicy stir-fries marinated in vibrant red sauce that captures the bustling spirit of street markets. If you're a fan of pufferfish hot pot, Each pot is more than just a meal. It's a rich experience filled with the delicate taste of the sea and meticulous preparation. The clear, savory broth blends perfectly with fresh, tender pieces of pufferfish, offering a warm yet light sensation that awakens all your senses. With every dip, the fish cooks just right, retaining its characteristic chewy texture, creating a unique flavor you won't forget.